Blue Lake City Council meeting today is June 24th. Go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
City Manager Burkhart, can you go ahead and establish a quorum?
Yes, we've got Councilmember Napier.
Here.
Councilmember Louis Lusso.
Here.
Mayor Sawatsky.
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Scafani.
Here.
All right, we have a present council. Can we go ahead and get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve. So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
It passes. All right. So we have a matters time certain. We need to receive presentation from Eric Keller-Heckman of HWMA. Eric, are you here?
Eric, did you need a slide deck or anything?
I have one.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We'll just wait on that.
Okay.
Then.
I mean, you can introduce yourself or whatever. So happy to see you.
Thank you.
So I can just say I'm on the Humboldt Waste Management Authority committee, the board of directors, and Eric is the director. And I've asked him to update Blue Lake since I've been here. I haven't seen an update or known what's going on with the Humboldt Waste Management Authority, and wanted him to come in and give us a little presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Council. I greatly appreciate it. As was mentioned, my name is Eric Keller-Heckman. I'm the Executive Director of Humboldt Waste Management Authority. Obviously, Blue Lake is one of our member agencies of that. So what is the authority?
One second, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Technical dip.
Yeah. Oh, that's really tricky.
Okay. So what is the Humboldt Waste Management Authority? HWMA is what you call a joint powers authority. And while we are made up and empowered by our member agency jurisdictions, we are a distinct entity all its own. Our current membership contains the cities of Arcata, Blue Lake, Eureka, Ferndale, Rio Dell, and the unincorporated areas of Humboldt County. So what is it that HWMA does? At our core, we were originally tasked with two main directives: managing solid waste and post-closure maintenance of the Cummings Road landfill. But as the waste stream has evolved, so too has HWMA. And over time, we have been tasked with additional diversion programs, funding countywide fees and programs, and helping jurisdictions plan for future legislative actions. But it should be clarified that we do not collect this material from any of your jurisdictions or your residents. What we do is ensure that it has a place to go, is managed appropriately, and is disposed of in a cost-effective way.
We wait till the end for questions.
It's at the purview of the council. I don't know exactly how you guys operate.
We can wait till the end. That's fine.
Okay. So HWMA has several operational divisions which focus on each particular type of waste stream. We no longer simply accept solid waste in one door, load it, and then send it out the other. We have significantly changed how waste is managed, and we've matched that to how California's legislation has changed the waste flow over time. As it's changed, we've created specialty divisions that handle each particular type of waste. Our solid waste division is our largest operational division and handles the lion's share of solid waste generated throughout Humboldt County. This includes solid waste generated by, obviously, the city of Blue Lake and all of our other residents and businesses and our other member agencies. Within the solid waste division, we also accept residential and commercial self-haul at the Hawthorne Street Transfer Station, commercial green waste, single stream recycling, and we implement a myriad of different diversion programs throughout the years, such as carpet recycling and mattress recycling. Next, we have our household hazardous waste facility. It is the only facility like it in the county. Our staff handles upwards of 400,000 gallons of material annually through those doors. This is open to residents and small quantity generator businesses, so smaller local businesses. Anything from paint, things that you find in your shed, things under your kitchen sink, all the way to HSU's lab chemicals, commercial grade chemicals, things like that. So that is where the majority of that waste goes. And again, it's the only one like it in the county. It's at our Hawthorne Street transfer station in Eureka. And so recently we've expanded the hours. Now it is open Monday through Saturday for residents. Residents are free to come and bring 15 gallons per day at no charge. Businesses are by appointment Monday through Friday, and they are simply charged what it costs to dispose of the material. Next, we have the Cummings Road landfill. The HWMA landfill accepted the majority of the North Coast waste for nearly 70 years and was acquired by the HWMA in early 2000. Incidental material was received after that time, with the final closure coming in 2017. With the closure plan finalized and approved by the state, we now begin the 30 years of post-closure maintenance and monitoring. Our programs division is responsible for the development and initial implementation of the majority of the diversion programs that we have today. Program staff track upcoming legislation that will impact either the authority or its member agencies and develop pathways and strategies to implement these new programs. Once that's developed, they work in concert with our divisions to hand off these programs to such as solid waste or hazardous waste. And we integrate those into regular operations. Some examples obviously are our carpet, mattress recycling, treated wood waste, batteries, Sharps takes back. The majority of programs that you see throughout the county are originated at one time in HWMA's program division. So how do we fund all of this? Well, outside of grant activities, the authority is fully funded by the fees that it collects on its member agency's solid waste tonnage, which we call the waste management fee structure. The solid waste portion of the waste management fee is made up of three main components with programs and targeted divisions nested inside of them. The countywide program fee, which houses pass-throughs and other county-related programs such as AB 939 funds, LEA costs, illegal dumping and cleanup funds. The majority of these fees are set by the county or state regulatory agencies. Next, we have the HWMA base fee. This is responsible for funding all other programs or divisions at the authority outside of our solid waste division. This includes our programs division, administration staff, environmental health, and our long-term funding goals. Finally, we have the facility fee, which houses the cost for the transportation and disposal of our solid waste, the direct operational costs of handling that waste, indirect expenses, and our necessary reserve funding requirements. This slide should give you a better glimpse into how these fees are structured and how they contribute to the overall waste management fee. As you can see, the countywide fees are charged on all tons generated within all member agency boundaries. These programs are generally run or operated, again, by the county, or in the case of the Cummings Road landfill and the hazardous waste facility, operated by the HWMA on behalf of the county. The HWMA base fees, next, are charged to all tons delivered by member agencies to transfer stations within Humboldt County. As noted on the previous slide, these fees cover the divisions we went over just a little bit earlier this evening. And finally, we have the solid waste facility fee at the bottom. One of the areas of note for satellite facilities, only the transportation and disposal costs are present. This should hopefully shed a little bit more light on those fees. Overall, the budget that the authority has is pretty simple, with a couple factors that have a large impacts on our rates. Total solid waste ton is the baseline for developing our fees. Because the authority is funded through tipping fees, total tonnage can have a significant impact on our per ton costs. This is where economics of scale come into play. And with more tonnage, it allows us to spread the operational costs over those additional tons, reducing our per ton rate for all member agencies. Keep in mind, this was one of the original driving factors of the HWMA.
Mhm.
Our single largest cost is transportation and disposal of solid waste. This represents upwards of 46% of our total operating budget every year. Fuel prices, highway closures, and backhaul availabilities have significant impact and can have significant impact throughout the year on these costs. Staff costs are obviously a factor as well. The authority having 35 full-time members, and as programs come online or other operations are developed, this can lead to an increase in those costs and an increase in staffing as needed. And finally, funding diversion programs are again a major funding source and issue of our costs. This includes the Cummings Road landfill management, household hazardous waste disposal, upcoming organics waste, and other small programs related to diversion. So what does that mean for the city of Blue Lake, and how exactly does that impact your rates? For residents and businesses that self-haul or deliver material directly to our Hawthorne Street transfer station, it's pretty simple. You come in and you're going to pay the fee at the gate. But for people who just subscribe to your curbside service, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. I would consider our fee something of a base fee. We are covering and paying for the disposal and transportation of your waste material to the landfill. That is going to be just a singular part of your annual rate review that goes with your franchise hauler. So our fees are additive to the franchise hauler's cost to collect and pick up and transport to a transfer station. Then we take it over from there, and our costs are incurred. Yeah, I'd say once the fee is finalized, it's then provided to your franchise hauler, and that is when they bring their total fees together with ours, and then that's when they should be presenting those type of fees to the city council annually. So additionally, staff has requested a brief update on organics, which has obviously been a pretty hot topic throughout the county and with many of our jurisdictions over the last year and a half. For a bit of background, the authority and the jurisdictions have been working on basically a two-pronged approach to compliance for organics and processing. The short-term approach is going to be rolling out organics and food waste collection. That material will come to the Hawthorne Street transfer station, be pre-processed, and then it will be shipped out of county to Cold Creek Compost for composting. The reason that we have to do that in the short term is there is no location in the county permitted to accept and process food waste. Long-term planning is underway and congruent with that short-term plan. The authority is looking at properties to potentially buy and a facility that will potentially be built to accept all green waste and food waste material in county, be processed and made either into energy or amendment material that will stay in county. And with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have about any process or the authority as a whole. And thank you again for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Eric. I have a question. What are some legislation actions, issues that we should be aware of as citizens, residents of Blue Lake?
Sure. So a couple, I'll speak mainly to solid waste, obviously, and waste as a whole. A couple of ones that have benefited you in the past. There's been legislation that has mandatory requirements for individuals who create sharps and shell sharps to pay the cost of that program to take that material back. Prior to that legislation being passed, the authority foot the bill for the majority of sharps containers and sharps disposal in the county. That's obviously been a reduction in cost, which means a reduction in our costs, which at the end of the day means a reduction in your per can costs. Some other upcoming ones that are going to be important, AB 341 is mandatory commercial recycling. So you're going to have to roll out mandatory commercial recycling to all of your commercial entities. 1826 is mandatory organics collection. And then the big one right now that the larger jurisdictions are working on is SB 1383. which is a short-lived climate pollutant bill, but the majority of it is targeted towards food waste collection. So you guys have a little bit, the city of Blue Lake has a little bit of a reprieve on some of these. You're not going to be required until at least 2027 to comply, especially with 1383. But these at some point will come down across the state to all jurisdictions, whether they have a waiver or not. And that's currently what you guys have. You guys have a low population density waiver. What that's going to mean is incurred and increased costs generally across the board. Material is going to have to be picked up more regularly. There's going to have to be services that are offered to be picked up more regularly. Trash, recycling, and organics cans will be mandatory at not only all of your residents, but commercial businesses as well. So that is a big change from a lot of the smaller jurisdictions from what they have now.
So when you say mandatory, what does that mean exactly? Like everybody has to subscribe to curbside pickup?
That's
or-
correct. Yep. So there will be a time where Cow Recycle in the state comes in, and if you do not have a mandatory ordinance and you don't have mandatory collection, they will make you. That's very simply the basis of it stems from AB 939, which is the original solid waste management bill passed in 1989. It's basically to devise a better way to ensure solid waste, recycling, and now organics is handled in the most ethical and environmentally friendly way. It doesn't always mean it's the most cost efficient by any means, especially in rural areas like us. But again, a majority of bills are written for the majority of the state, not for outliers. That's why a lot of our jurisdictions in this area have been granted waivers to give us time to catch up, to give us time to evaluate options and give us time to come in compliance. But I had a conversation last 2 weeks with Rio Dell and last month with Ferndale. Ferndale is going to be looking at passing a mandatory solid waste collection ordinance, and that is something that they're going to have to do. That is something all jurisdictions are going to have to do. And it'll just depend on how much of that cake you want to eat when it comes due, or if you want to start slicing that pie a little bit to eat it a little now, a little later, to make the costs a little bit more bearable and maybe get a little bit better program rollout so that your residents can understand a little bit better of what's happening and why.
So just to confirm, it's not just city entities that will have to participate. All residents of the city will have to.
That is correct. Yep.
An exorbitant fee too. Oh man, I went to the dump here a couple days ago with one of my sons. I have a little Nissan truck.
I apologize. You can talk. We'll get to you in 1 minute.
Okay.
Once we get to citizens' questions, I'll bring out the mic and you guys can talk.
But yes, so you will, every resident and every business, every multifamily dwelling, all of these will be required. So 341, the mandatory commercial recycling, these were meant as stepping stones really for the majority of the state. 341 was first, and it was a requirement by 2016 to give commercial recycling to all your residents and businesses. 1826 then moved the goalpost to all organics. So not food waste, just organics, which means like trees, trimmings, clippings, things like that. And then 1383 ratchets that up again, basing it off of the understanding that jurisdictions would become compliant with the first two bills. And now they're wrapping in food waste. So the majority of the state, and when these bills are written, they're assuming that you already have mandatory solid waste collection. They're already assuming that you have mandatory commercial recycling. That's why in rural areas, the cost and the shock of rolling some of these out can be so great.
Exciting. Does council have any further questions, or should we take this out to the public?
I wanted to just expand a little bit or have you expand a little bit on the transportation and haulers and our options here in the city of Blue Lake. I think that we have one, but there are multiple in the county. Is that correct?
Yeah, you want for curbside
Yes.
recycling and solid waste collection?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm do you guys know what a franchise hauler is, or like what your franchise area is, or what that's considered?
More or
Not
less.
really.
I mean,
Yeah.
but-
So it's for anybody that doesn't know your franchise agreement, your franchise hauler. Generally, you have an ordinance that ordains that you have the ability to give someone the power to collect material inside of your jurisdiction boundaries. Normally, you have a contract with them, and that's your franchise hauler, and they provide franchise hauling services. That means that you have one entity that's going to come in and they're going to provide you all the services that you need for solid waste, recycling, and now organics handling. That doesn't mean that they're the only one in the county. Doesn't mean that you couldn't go, in theory, out to bid for other entities to come in and provide that service. Generally, that's not done outside of very large areas, Portland, SF, places like that. Smaller areas like this, you generally need, you don't have the economies of scale to have multiple franchise haulers, but you can. But in speaking with Humboldt Sanitation, which is your current franchise hauler, they are well aware of these requirements. They have been working with the county. The county is going to be required to comply as well. They're actually already required to comply. So this won't be a new thing for them. This won't be a new conversation for them when you have it. They are well aware.
Great, thank you. Any further comments?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So for our local collection, I think we have choices of, I don't know if it was a 26-gallon bin and maybe a 32-gallon bin for your trash.
Mhm.
And then the big blue recycling bin, which is a common size, I think. to all.
96, yeah.
What does that look like for the organics collection? What would it look like for the food collection? And then kind of as a percentage based on, let's say it was $50 a month already just for our trash and recycling, what percentage increase might we see roughly?
So I can't speak to the percentage increase. That's something that I would be more than happy to work with the city of Blue Lake and your franchise hauler when you guys do come forward for negotiations for that service. But without taking a deep dive on your current franchise contract and then taking a look at the new costs that may be incurred, I can't unfortunately answer that type of increase. But what I can say for a baseline is I think the majority of the county right now is moving towards 96-gallon toters with commercial entities being able to get front load bins like 1 yard, 2 yard, and 5 yarders. That is a couple of reasons. One, if you minimize the amount or the different types of bins that you have, you minimize the costs overall.
Mhm.
So when let's take Humboldt Sanitation since they're your hauler. When they spin up to buy bins for the county, they can also buy bins for their other jurisdictions that are going to have to come into compliance and use the same 96-gallon totes across their franchise areas, which should, in theory, save everybody more money because they don't have to go out and source different size bins for different jurisdictions. um, as far as collections, that's incredibly difficult to say because you guys don't have mandatory right now. That it's going to be very dependent on how many stops, how much material you generate, what type of waste stream that you have. So generally in Humboldt County, we have around a 33% of your waste stream is food waste.
Wow.
But that doesn't always
That's
play
a
out
lot.
based off residents, based off businesses. We obviously see a huge shift on businesses if they're a restaurant or a food generating business. That's really going to skew that. So your franchise hauler, and generally with the help of HWMA, we take a look at the routes, we take a look at the entities and the people that are going to be serviced. 96 gallons is normally a pretty good one for residents that have a yard. And they can also just add their food waste in with their green waste material. That's what's going to happen for residents. So 96-gallon toter for residents is more of a catch-all, where businesses are going to be, each one is going to be visited. Each one is going to be talked to about their back of house operations, how much material they generate. Like a tire shop won't have a front end load 2 yard container, but a restaurant might. Or maybe one entity doesn't have room for a front loader, so they'll have two 96-gallon totes that are serviced twice a week instead of once a week. All of those will be tailored to the entities that they collect. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Is it okay if I open up the public? here?
Sure, great.
Just gonna take my mic out there and you can continue.
Like, so can I just sit here and talk?
Yeah, just one moment, I'll get you the mic.
Okay.
Go ahead. Wow.
That is. I don't think the mandated version you have put forth to us is a plausible possible thing. There's too many people that are not going to handle that. Right now, I pay, my son lives next door with his family and we pay $20 a month, twice a month to fill up my little truck and go to the junkyard or whatever it's called. I heard a couple of my neighbors said they were paying 110 a month for pickup in Blue Lake. Now that's astronomical and it's not feasible for a lot of low income people, especially. Um, I don't know how else to pursue denouncing this, but I'll be here for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thanks. So you want to go?
I'm just wondering if you actually separate the two bins like I have now. There's the garbage and then recycling. And my landlord says that when it gets to the dump, it all goes in the same place. So do you actually recycle it now?
Yeah, so the two bins actually don't even go to the same place. So your current recycling goes out to Samoa. The HMA has a contract through Recology of Humboldt to process all curbside collected recyclable material for our member agencies. And then your trash goes to Humboldt Sanitation's yard, which we have a contract with them for satellite loading agreements for your member agency waste. So those two trucks, in theory, don't even go to the
Okay.
same place, much less end up mixed together.
Okay, I'm glad there's going to be a third option, the green.
Anyone else have questions?
That was a good question.
I just wondered in a place that's has a lot of agricultural focus and many people do permaculture and worm bins and how is that or does it fit into the mandatory compost food and green waste? How do you how do you have both or can you have both?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of the jurisdictions that are required right now. So what's going to happen is your jurisdiction, Blue Lake City Council, eventually will pass an ordinance. And within that ordinance, they'll describe how this material is handled. And if they want to, they can put in either options that you can opt out of service if you have another type. So if you backyard compost, or if you take your material to a compost facility, you can have an opt out like that. Many of the other jurisdictions doing that, City of Eureka, City of Arcata, those are all options that you can prescribe to an alternate service, and you can either get a credit on your bill, or you're just not charged in general, depending on the franchise contract and how those are bundled. Yeah.
Another
Does
good
anyone
question.
else wish to ask a question? All right. Linda Cooley, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to state that businesses in Blue Lake are already doing recycling. And my Yes, can you hear me? Yay. I just wanted to state that businesses in Blue Lake, we are doing recycling currently, commercial. Um, I have a couple of comments and concerns. The green waste, the fact that we're using fossil fuels to haul that off, and I'm assuming paying more, is a bit confusing. But I guess what year are you able to not drive the green waste so far? So that would make sense in my mind. And then also, where would the food compost waste go? And also, I wanted to point out that businesses in Blue Lake with the power and our water bills, I think if our garbage went up, we might have an issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you wish to answer?
It's at the will of the council. If you'd like me to answer any of the
If
questions,
there's
I'd be
anything
more
you
than
feel
happy
like you want to answer, you're welcome to. If not, then
Yeah, I think
take comment.
right now there's nothing in our county that stays in our county.
Okay.
So trash goes out, that goes all the way to Dry Creek landfill in Medford, Oregon. So that's a 400-mile round trip. Our recycling goes to Samoa, but then it goes overseas. It doesn't stay local. 40% of our green waste is composted in county. The other goes either to the Scotia Power Plant for cogen burning, or it goes over to Reading for burning. Our HWMA's intent is to not have material go out of the county as much as possible. Solid waste, we can't do anything about. There will not be another landfill permitted within Humboldt County, much less within California. Environmental regulations will not allow that to happen. Commercial recycling and recycling in general, we don't have enough end use cases to recycle that type of material in county. Green waste, on the other hand, the authority, my staff, myself, my board believe that we do have the ability to compost that material in county and keep it in county. And that's what we're going to be doing, hopefully in 3 to 5 years from now. But for the short term, for everyone to be able to come into compliance with the law, we're going to be sending it just south for composting.
Great, thank you. Julie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Julie Christie. I have statements more than questions. I would like to thank Eric. I watch the Humboldt County Association of Governors, who our council member Kat sits on. I knew this presentation was coming. He's going to be going off to the rest of the municipalities. And I will say this, congratulations to you guys. I bet our council had some of the most inquisitive, constructive questions. So I applaud you guys as usual with that. So going back to organic waste, there are stipulations that there are rule exemptions, and our jurisdiction can apply to Cal Recycle for an exemption for the organic waste collection requirements. To apply, we need our governing body to do that. And I'm not sure if that's something that's factual or not. However, I do believe that just like our carbon sequencing, and we are pretty organic waste neutral. But again, I think a lot of people have common sense like me. I recycle and reuse everything as possible. You have neighbors, you hear their roosters, go give them some of your scraps after dinner. Great chicken food. I don't think we're an impact that should have these regulations. And there are certain other organizations and stuff that we can actually reach out to talk to about these things. I do have to commend our Humboldt Waste Management Authority. Like, they're under a lot of pressure for the fact that we cannot process a lot of things in California, which is important, shouldn't it? My husband is a Bettendorf driver. He does drive what they call hog fuel trips from the mills over 299 every day. And as we're evolving with carbon emissions and the truck regulations, you guys, they are crippling us to get any trucks still on the road in California. This is going to be a dead end street pretty soon. Unfortunately, I think we just need more proactive involvement outside of this room. And I don't know how anybody would love to facilitate that in the city. We could have community gatherings and stuff like that, that we can discuss these bigger topics and then bring our ideas consolidated back to the council. That would be my suggestion with a lot of things on the table tonight. Thank you.
So just as a point of clarification for the county or for the council, you guys are currently under that waiver that she talked about. So SB 1383's compliance was mandatory starting January of 2021. So it originally HWMA and the city of Blue Lake filed for the rural exemption and the small population waiver for you guys with the state. You were not required to comply until January 1 of 2025. A recent bill that the governor just signed last year extended that till 2027. So you guys are currently in that waiver status right now.
Would we have to re-up, or would we have to wait for an extension from the governor to
So
to
as
see what
of right
happens?
as of right now, there is no ability to re-up.
Okay.
The 2027 January 1, 2027 is kind of the end date that they've set. Whether they pass another bill or work on more legislation that's going to extend that, we're keeping an eye out. But right now, I don't see anything in the pipeline of legislative bills.
Great, thank you. Last call for public comment before we move on. Seeing none, we'll bring it back to council for, I guess, thank you.
Really appreciate your
Yeah, absolutely.
presentation
Thank you so
and
much.
you visiting us, and would love to have you back.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number
Thank you for
4,
Michelle.
Mhm.
public comment and closed session. Does anyone wish to comment on the closed session item?
I just don't know if I have one more chance to address the people in the room.
Regarding the closed session item, or
I don't know if it's part of your agenda for that or what.
it is, if it doesn't have to do with the closed session, which is the letter from Alex Ricca, then not at this time.
We'll have an
Still need to
option
do
later
that.
on for public comment that's not on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Where did you say them? Oh, okay, number 8.
All right, does the public wish to comment on the closed session item? No one wishes to, yep, yes, go ahead.
Dave Ponte, 311 8th Street. And I'm going to preface my comments on the next agenda item that a community this size has come to this toxic situation based on the performance of a single individual is unconscionable. I'm concerned about the subject of the following closed session regarding Mr. Ricca's allegation that the council violated the Brown Act. Mr. Ricca is in the midst of a movement proselytizing a recall of 3 sitting members of the City Council. Given that Mr. Ricca threatened the life of the current mayor over his vote on the housing element, I believe he has forfeited both any litigation against the city and his seat on the Safety Council. Physical threats and violence undermine democratic principle. Democracy depends on peaceful participation and the ability to express different viewpoints without the fear of harm. Thank you for the opportunity to address you.
Thank you. Any further public comment
Public comment regarding anything?
regarding the Alex Ricca item? Yes, go ahead.
My name is Terry Bayless, and I also am very concerned about this possible litigation and the fact that, when we look at all the actions and we look at the fact that anybody who steps up to this council is a volunteer, basically, in our community, and let any one of us get up in that seat and have to learn the job on the run in front of everybody else. And it seems to me that anybody who might be a commissioner might look at this in a way that we would support one another. So our city clerk and our city attorney both should be that umbrella that protects our city council and all of our actions, because we don't want the cost involved in this. And I just think that those 2 people should have been the umbrella to say, hey, wait a minute. And when I look at this, I don't see a violation of the Brown Act. Everything I've seen that I read, I disagree with it. But I do think that it would be helpful to have people act instead of.
Great, thank you.
You want to comment?
Any further public comment before I take it up to Zoom?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Whoever goes, sorry, you guys fight amongst yourselves. You go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
It is true that this council is a new council. I was new too at one time. One time I was the youngest person on the council, and then I became the oldest. Any citizen that sees some sort of malfeasance on the part of their city council has the ability to make that known. And that is what Alex Ricca has done. And some of us are going to hear what the outcome of it is. But we need to realize that it's a very serious position that you are in. As mayor for 12 years, I never once had any litigation against me or the council at the time I was on. So this is a serious matter, and it deserves a look at from both our counsel and our lawyer.
So there's a lot of other things. Who's next? Yes, go ahead.
My name's Don Bednar. I grew up in Arcata. I lived at 350 Broad Street for about 25 years. I've seen a lot of comings and goings in the council and all that. From what I've read, and I'm not politically astute like a lot of the people in the room, there is no violation of the Brown Act. Come on, you need to really pay attention and read it in depth and see what it actually means, especially in a small town atmosphere like this. The public voted these people in. From what I know of all of them, they're great. And change is good once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. All this animosity because the powers that be are no longer there is just sour grapes, you know? Let's move on. Let these people do what they're going to do, and we can support them and try to make things better for Blue Lake instead of haggling over a bunch of incidental crap that shouldn't be there anyway. That's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Barbara.
Barbara Russell. I think we have a lot of opportunity with this council that we didn't have before because they're open to ideas from the community that nobody even came to meetings back in the day. And I think we should stop bullying them and give them a chance and work together, okay? Because we all love our city. And all this other recall stuff is sucking the oxygen right out of our city. It's really toxic. It's a very bad look, and it's sad. It's heartbreaking, and I would love to see it stop and look at the good in each other and come back together and love each other like we should. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further comment? Oh, yes, please.
Please.
It is the job of the city clerk to protect this council. It is the job for her or him to advise the council if they're violating the Brown Act, to stop them in a meeting. I've seen Danny do it since she came on board. I never saw it done before. I never saw the attorney put his hand down and say, "Council, stop." Never. Not until things changed. So what happened to the city clerk? Let's ask that question first. What happened to her? We didn't even have really a city clerk. We had somebody who wore two hats. And when that person was in this room, she never once advised this council on violating the Black Crown.
Any other further comment? Becky, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so I actually want to agree with all previous speakers. They all did very well except for one, and I want to correct Adeline on something. Actually, no, we watched her and Mandy Mager violate the Brown Act many, many times. It'd take a bunch of hands just to count the amount. They're all in the videos from 2020 on. And so, you know, this coming forward for you guys, we have not seen any yet. We have not witnessed it. And for, okay, it is. So when this stuff that Alex is bringing up has to do with those violations. And we have not seen any violations by this council. So that's what I want to say. Okay. But I just had to say I agreed with the previous ones except for one. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky.
Can I pause everybody for a second? I would like to briefly remind everybody that public comment should be used to make an actual comment on the agenda item we're here to address and not to be used to pick at each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Julie, Christy, go ahead.
Thank you, Danny. I was just going to say the same thing. I'm not here to go tit for tat. That's not what we're here for tonight. We're on this closed session item that I believe is unwarranted. I hold this council to the same standards as the prior councils, and I hold our staff to the same standards as our prior staff. And I have been holding these standards for many, many years. And yes, I've seen multiple negligence, including the applicant tonight, with his complaints. He has also conducted multiple actions. And with the same people in the room supporting this, they were there in charge at that time and did not reprimand that person. But I will say this, I do believe that the rightful decider of this is our attorney. They were in the room present at all moments during all issues. And I feel that you guys, with your deliberation with him, are going to come to a very easy conclusion this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Last call for public comment. All right. You can't, no, sorry.
Is the city attorney going to be present?
He's here.
He's here.
On
He's
Zoom.
on the Zoom.
The M.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any further comment on the agenda item? All right, can we get a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Going into closed session. Thank you very much, everybody. 7:35, we are back from closed session. Are you ready, Justin? Just want to make sure before we start.
There you go.
Okay, great. All right, welcome back from closed session. I have our attorney here, Ryan Plotz, to report out on action from council.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in closed session, consider potential exposure to litigation. The council has unanimously voted to direct my office to prepare a written response to Mr. Ricca within the 30-day period provided by law. Based upon my analysis of the alleged violations noted in the cure and correct demand, the council has directed me to prepare a detailed written response to Mr. Ricca describing why the alleged violations of the Brown Act lack legal merit and that the city otherwise substantially complied with the law. I will prepare that response, send it to Mr. Ricca, and the response will be publicly available after it is sent. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. All right, moving on to item number 7, adopt previous council meeting minutes. Council wish to pull any minutes?
Yes.
Or actually, does the public get to comment on the closed session? Hang on before we move.
Comment, usually they comment before.
No, great, thank you. All right, moving on, continuing with item number 7, does anyone have questions on the minutes?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that there was
A date swap on the heading.
there on one of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we caught that. I've got 15 phone calls today alone about
Oh,
it.
well,
Mhm.
So that's
fantastic.
covered.
Okay. So yeah, we're not living in the future.
No, unfortunately, not. Or the
Okay.
past
Right.
as it were.
Okay, well, whatever it was. Okay, that's great. I think that there first of all, I want to thank Laura for doing a fantastic job of the minutes. This is a preference of mine to abbreviate, summarize some of the content of the discussions. Like that's just for volume's sake, because these are extremely detailed word by word, and it's a little bit much for me to try to absorb. That being said, we had on Tuesday, May 19th, the header indicates that it was a regular council meeting. I think it was special. On Wednesday, May 21st, it indicates that it was a regular council meeting. I believe that was special again. And then you corrected the header for Tuesday, June 10th, being again, this was a special meeting, not a regular meeting, so that would need to be adjusted within the content of the minutes. I think that there's a couple of minor, there are some name misspellings and variations. I think Mayor Swatsky is referred to as major in one. This is, it's just typo stuff, right? And then accessible versus accessible, and levy being spelled the other levy way. Just silly stuff. It's not, but again, thank you for your very good detailed attention to detail work. My preference would be summarizing And I have a vision of something similar to what Arcata is doing with their minutes summarizing, and then when you click on the link for the minutes, the video pops up immediately for you to be able to visualize. I know that's a dream, but it makes it very, very kind of, it works for me. But that's just my preference. And again, thank you very much for your work. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Any chat?
Yes, you will find on that evening when Dave Farrell was here, his spelling of his last name Feral, just like the cat. Farrell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elise? Or Kat, did
I
you have any others?
Nothing worth fighting for. It's all. Yeah.
Elise?
I made a bunch of notes for you of names and things like that. So, but I only was able to do that for the 27th. I didn't have time to look at June 6th, 10th. So I will hand you my copies of those with all that information. I kind of am back and forth on the idea that Michelle brought up about abbreviating a bit. On the one hand, I'm like, oh, so much of this stuff is so important, and it's great that we have all of it. But then it does get a little overwhelming. So I don't know how we'll do it or when we'll do it, but at some point we probably need to find some sort of a happy medium in there.
I'd like
If the rest of the council is agreeable to that. But that's just a thought that I had. I mean, and again, in a lot of respects, I love all the detail.
I wanted to share with you, before you were here, we had a similar type conversation with our attorney, who advised that a more streamlined, kind of almost outline approach is preferred, that we will still, the text in the conversation is preserved within the video if people want to dive deeper. So I don't know if he's still online. He could certainly comment on that, maybe explain further. But I mean, wow, you got a lot of detail in there, and it's great. And I think you could parse it down. And yeah,
I just want to make sure that, we're clear on what we're directing her to do.
Mhm,
Are we, I mean, we don't want to direct Danny, or who, do we direct?
Yeah,
fine, okay,
council
good.
direct your staff. Tell
Great,
me what you
thank you.
want.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to make sure we're telling her the same thing, so she, I can miss
I
it.
think that as we're trying this out, and I'm thinking that maybe another, like a lighter version, a more condensed version of the minutes with reference to, of course, as long as we're accepting our recordings as being part of the record, that's sufficing, like discussion about XYZ, if there's anything pertinent. Certainly actionable items and voting need to be detailed, certainly, but some of the details of the conversations might need to be minimized a little bit.
Any further comments before we open up to the public?
I just wanted to say that the timestamps from the videos are great. So, so even if it's not a linkable thing, people can go to find that spot on the video.
Thank you very much for that. Does the public wish to comment on the minutes?
Welcome.
Yes, Adeline, go ahead.
Yeah. I suggested this to Annalie Gonzalez, our last city clerk, because she was really frustrated with doing the minutes. And one idea I told her was to simply list the names of all the people who made a public comment. It's really hard to quote people exactly as to what they're saying. So I think just a list, and then we have it all on video. We're all watching the meetings on video. So that's another thought, which would really simplify things.
Thank you. Any further public comment before I open up to Zoom? Yes, go ahead in the back.
Yeah, I agree, with Terry Bayless. I do agree, it's trying to find ways to streamline it. The only thing I would be concerned about is that the minutes have to be kept in perpetuity. They have to, they are our legal record of what happens, even through all the years. And technology gets old, it dies. You can't keep a video if you don't update it all the time. There's going to come a point when you can't access it anymore. So to say that that would be your permanent record of what happens, because sometimes you do need to look back and say, wow, was that taken care of? Did anybody look at that issue a long time ago? Well, 50 people were here and they were all in opposition to this, or they were all in favor, and that's why our council made that decision. So even though I think streamlining is a great idea and not quoting everybody word for word, I think it's important to know when people show up here what they said. Were they in favor? Were they in opposition? And what our council's kind of overall discussion was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further public comment?
I just want to say that we used to have more public present, and I think it's impossible unless we had like a sign-in sheet, and we're not requiring that. So it makes it still like it may or may not be completely accurate as far as how many people showed up, because we're not seeing that reflected. Anyway, it's a tough one.
We probably could have like a list of people who spoke, though, I'm assuming, if they wanted to, like a sign-in sheet, but that wouldn't be required. Or we can talk about that another time. I don't want to deviate too far from our minutes. Lynn Glenn, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I agree with what Terry said. I would be concerned that if the video record is to be the legal record of what happened in the meeting for perpetuity, what entity is going to keep that video record up forever? I'm wondering how that would work. And I don't know what entity keeps the video records of the city council meetings now, but I think that would be important to make sure that whatever is decided, it's a good record for the future of what happened at the meetings.
Great, thank you, Lynn. Julie Christie, go ahead.
Yes, I have to appreciate the council's patience with deliberance on our minutes acceptance. We are going kind of outside of the agenda here and having discussion, which I think obviously by the input, it's warranted to carry this on to another agenda item perhaps in the future. But getting back to the actual agenda item, I would commend the council to motion to approve the minutes adjusted as Michelle suggested with her additions, and to hold off the minutes that Elise is sending her notes to, and we can bring those back and accept them. In the past, we've gotten huge clumps of minutes. It was really super repetitive. You guys have actually had more on your plate lately than anybody dreamt of. So I don't give you any discredit for having a bunch on your table right now, but let's go ahead and motion and approve the ones we can, and we can bring the ones back that still need to be edited. Thank you.
Did anybody have a chance to look over June 10th closer? So you have some, yeah.
I do want to bring up, well, we're still in public comment.
Well, hang on. Any further public comment before we bring it back to the council? All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I did want to bring this up to you, lines 245 and 246 from the June 10th meeting. Wiyot is spelled W-I-Y-O-T.
Thank you.
And I know you have a lot that you're trying to catch up on.
Thank you.
All right, can we entertain a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes or
With corrections.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Michelle, go ahead.
I withdraw my
move
partial motion.
that we approve the minutes from May 19th, May 21st, May 27th, and June 10th with the corrections noted and the amendments to the names.
Lynn, sorry, go ahead and mute.
I would second that.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8, public comment. The public is invited to present petitions, make announcements, or provide other information to the city council that is relevant to the scope of authority of the city of Blue Lake, that is not on the agenda. Who would like to speak first? Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. TJ Lynch, 11904 West End Road, and my parents do live here in Blue Lake. Good evening, council members, acting city manager, and residents of Blue Lake. I'm here tonight to give you a personal thank you to your planning and building staff for their assistance with permitting for my parents' residence in town. Based on previous experiences in other municipalities, it was a very simple process to help put in an ADA ramp. As a point of note, though, one of my concerns that I want to address tonight is your staff had to deal with me as opposed to my parents because of some of the interactions that have been in the past, and there was concern from my family that some of those interactions would not be received well or having any interaction. So that's why I had to step in. So just as a reminder, the staff has to be cognizant of their interactions and working with the public. This kind of leads into a permitting in general statement. What I did was a temporary access for ADA for my dad. Okay. If I had to go through a ministerial process to get a permit for an ADA ramp, that was not necessary because it's temporary structure and it's not attached to the building. I hope any other resident of the community that is using a park or using a facility is using those same permitting processes and is abiding by that. And then secondly, as someone that lives in the sphere of influence of Blue Lake, I'm also asking for the public censure or removal of 2 of your public safety commission members. Based on conversations I've heard and seen on the March 3rd, 2025 Public Safety Commission, there are 2 members, commission members, Ricka and Jones, that are showing bias and the inability to use impartial thought. They have openly allowed the city to be at risk for lawsuit from Elon Musk, just as similarly to what happened with the California Coastal Commission by Commission Member Jones's comments on that night. Secondly, they've also opened up concern and defamation with a former city employee based on the inability of a former police chief to be present or have any interaction based on the objections of one of the commission members. That shows bias and the inability to have impartial thought. So I'm going to ask for you guys to consider that. And finally, as a community member that's lived in Blue Lake my entire life, excuse me, I'm ashamed of how this community is at. Your behavior is deplorable. Insults, calling people belligerent drunks, threatening people's lives is not democracy. Okay? Civil discourse is the main component of any representative government. I came tonight because I'm pissed. As someone that's lived here, that has worked with many of you, that has been around for a long time, I'm tired of it. Do better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Yes, go ahead.
Adeline Jones. Last night, the council voted 4-0 to not contract with Power Transmission. I spoke about the real need to have the dangerous former Blue Lake power structure demolished as soon as possible. If any council person has a better idea of how to get this attractive nuisance out of the district, I and many of my fellow citizens would like to know what that plan is. It's easy to vote no on an issue, but the real hard part is to come up with a constructive plan. Next, I'd like to say that it was quoted in the paper that I'm leading the recall of the 3 city council persons. This is not true. I'm just one of many citizens who have watched with dismay as this council ousted our wonderful city manager, Amanda Mager, and put our city in jeopardy of being fined by the state for not adopting our housing element. And then I'd like to publicly thank all of our hardworking commissioners on our 5 commissions: Arts and Heritage, Planning Commission, Public Safety, Economic Development, and Parks and Recreation. Last Wednesday, there was a very educational Parks and Recreation meeting where the history of the Redwood Coast Mountain Biking Association Bike and Skate Park was presented and explained. It's too bad more people did not attend. And then finally, as you can see, I'm wearing my proud to be a Blue Lake Yimby. That means yes in my backyard. It was stated by one citizen here a few weeks ago who thought we needed affordable housing, but just not in the district. Does she or anyone else have any ideas of any pieces of land in Blue Lake where it could be? Keep in mind, we are less than 1 square mile. What are we going to do? Convert the tot lot,
The town square, the Powers Creek district is the perfect spot for an affordable housing complex. And I look forward to the groundbreaking.
Thank you. Further public comment? Yes, sir.
So I remember hearing a while ago that we're a zero waste city, and I don't know if that's true or not, or even what that exactly means, but it would be sad to take down the power plant buildings. It's not toxic, and I'm glad that we held off because we can use those if we fix them up until we figure out what's next. We do have to make it safe. I don't know why it wasn't made safe earlier. There were big holes in the fences for a long time, and why the electric, well, those kinds of things. But the other thing I wanted to say, oh, shoot, I forgot. But anyway, oh, yeah, so I did get in touch with Redwood Energy Authority, and we don't have to sell that to them. There would be interest in renting the hookup to other battery storage places. Historically, we didn't sell off pieces of property because we wanted to have things there that created jobs, and that wouldn't really, there's other things that we could do there that could create goods and services for our community that we badly need. So I'm glad we're not rushing into that. And I know you guys will make it safe as soon as you can, and I would love to help whatever way I can. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Who's next? Yes, go ahead.
Marty Granger, something less serious. I just want to affirm what I vaguely stated last month about getting rid of the arts and heritage. I know this isn't a real critical decision, but it just seems like it makes sense for some reasons, like less work for the staff and maybe a little easier for the council to manage. And the other reasons are the other commissions are really objective goals that are planned for and accomplished. But the arts and heritage is more subjective. It's not objective like the other commissions. It's more creative. And I just feel like this is the opportunity where the people can be involved and participate. Like the economic development might want a new logo. Well, there might be lots of people in town that it could make a beautiful logo better than maybe 4 or 5 people that are on the commission. Or the planning commission, if they wanted to have a name for the housing development, I mean, they could put that out to the community, and the community could come up with a name that, and we could vote on it. And it would just encourage participation, and people that can't handle this, like me, some of the heavier subjects that are so complicated, at least we can contribute. I mean, the safety commission, they might want to put out a flyer that somebody could make a creative flyer. So those are the reasons that I think that it would be a good idea to do away with it and let more of the community be involved in some of those decisions. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any further public comment? Anyone else?
I think we got
Go
somebody
on.
here.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Ron Hill. I'm a general engineering and electrical utility contractor. In the last quarter of 2023 and first quarter of 24, excuse me, I put together plans for the owners of the Blue Lake Power Plant. Excuse me. And we put plans together for decommissioning of the site. Trying not to sneeze here. Excuse me. Anyways, we looked at remediating the equipment on site, pulling it off, and I'm sorry.
Do you want me to get you a tissue?
No, I'm just like, it's just sitting there ready to go. No, tissue isn't going to help. I had to take my inhaler before I got in here, and it's like I get in a room with close people, and something agitates it, and I'll start sneezing and coughing. Anyways, we worked with the plant owners on decommissioning the site. I'd like to propose that we come back and have a negotiations meeting with the council on remediating the site, removing the equipment. The owners of the plant would initiate the beginning part of the removal of the equipment. They would initially start the costs on that. I have plans for selling and repurpose and reuse of the equipment on site. So I would like to offer, my time to have that meeting and look at the possibilities of what we can do as far as, removing equipment, selling the equipment, getting the site completely, cleaned up.
And sorry,
Public comment.
I'm not supposed to ask you questions.
What's that?
We're not supposed to
can't
ask you
ask
questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought
We
you were
can
going to
sit
ask
here
me
with
questions.
lots of curiosities, but we're not supposed to ask you any
Yeah.
questions.
So the owners are interested in starting this project. We can start here soon. We have all this already worked out on cost and directions and plans on what we can do with the site. And that, again, that started in late 23, early 24. And so we're pretty much ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Julie, go ahead.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm here. You're in my pocket as I do chores. I'm so sorry, but I really appreciate Zoom. And I will give a tech check-in. I can hear everybody very well. Even earlier, John, when you handed your mic off, I could still hear the audience as well as I could prior to that. So I would suggest getting a conference speaker in the room. That is something that Marty has suggested in the past. It's very affordable. We have done a lot in the past where we just get donations from the community. That's what got Justin started. I hope your chair is still rocking. But we could get a conference speaker in there so everybody can hear better. Ventilation in the building, I will say, is a concern sometimes. I have sympathy with my prior speaker. I'm used to being outside and fresh air. When I go in the building a lot, I feel congested. So just keeping a good breezeway in there for everybody. But I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But this council that we have now, right now, you guys, I've been involved with the city for a long time. And this is a blessing to us to have this council, regardless of the gaslighting and the misinformation that's being spread out through our public, which is unfortunate because a lot of people don't go to the meetings and they are online, so they're being taken advantage of. We have had so much advantage taking over the years. And I do believe now with our new council, we're going to get a lot more people like our prior speaker that are going to step forward. We had no relations with the Rancheria, our Yurok tribe. We had no relations with our neighbors across the river there because of our prior manager's dialect with them. And I believe those are going to resolve. I believe we're going to open up into a lot of ground that we can actually mitigate more community activity. So anytime anyone in the community would like to get together, who cares if we don't agree? We need to have a consensus. And let's come to that mutually and like adults. And I would love to have those opportunities. So thank you, Lori, for offering the potlucks and stuff like that. And let's make Annie a Merry Days super cool this year, you guys. August 3rd. Let's get her on.
Thank you. Becky, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to apologize for earlier. So I do want to say something that PJ had said something earlier about this. So in the state of California, we know that a recall or any kind of petition that is solicited for signatures that needs signatures is called soliciting. So I found in Title 9, Public Peace and Safety and Welfare, Chapter 9.20 under Special Event Permitting, that seeing the tent over there in this town square, it does say that a special event shall mean any activity on public or private property. Um, then it says that for which is proposed and is characterized that is not intended for the use on that property. Sorry. Under 9.20.030, of course, no person or organization shall organize, conduct, or implement a special event without being issued that permit first. The exceptions, of course, are lawful picketing. They do not have to pay for the fee if it is for First Amendment rights, so that means freedom of speech. But of course, during a recall, you're not allowed to speak to the people. They're just supposed to read your recall. 9.20.120, the prohibited conduct of special events. If you have a special event permit, selling, vending, or soliciting are absolutely prohibited under that permit unless the permittee allows it. Information for pertaining to that special event is the application says that you need to complete it if your event takes place on public property, including park rentals. So that being said, I still think that you have to have a permit if you set up a tent and a table and are soliciting signatures. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Last call for public comment.
I have just a question.
Do you want to bring in the mic?
No, I'll speak loudly.
You have to be up there.
I'm getting up to leave. I just would, be over to City Hall to pick up a copy of whatever came out of the closed session. I'm sorry I wasn't here, but the phone call came and we walked over and you weren't already, that's fine. So it shouldn't be a very long, thing, but I do want the written response.
Great.
And I am entitled.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Danny, will you give me a call when that's ready? Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
And thank you for allowing it.
All right. Let's see here. Any further public comment? Seeing none, bring it back to council. All right. Moving on to the item number 9, the consent agenda, warrants and disbursements. Do we have any questions for staff on warrants or disbursements, or does the staff wish to comment on warrants and disbursements?
I have no comment other than we've still got Ryan on here, so if we could go as quick as possible and not have him here much longer, that'd be great.
Do you want to table? Like, can we table?
Can we just pass the consent agenda?
Yeah, that's unless you have some serious questions I can't address outside of this meeting.
No. It's not anything a follow-up phone call can't handle.
Thank you.
I'm okay.
No questions? Does the public wish to comment on the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and bring it back to council for passage.
I move to approve the consent agenda as delivered.
Second.
All right, we have a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. All right, moving on to the next item. Consider accepting Tri-Pepe Smith's recruitment proposal for city manager. Ryan, would you like to comment on this item?
Yeah, thanks. So in your packet is the full proposal from Tri-Pepe Smith. Tri-Pepe Smith is an executive recruit firm that has recent experience in Humboldt County, including the executive director for HCOG, the executive director for Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District, and the executive director for Redwood Coast Energy Authority. And we also have, I believe, Councilmember Scafani has worked with Tri-Pepe Smith in the RCEA recruitment and spoke favorably of that firm. So I have a proposal provided from Christine Martin, who would be our chief recruiter, to conduct a comprehensive search for a permanent city manager. The proposal goes through in detail information about Tri-Pepe Smith, about the employees who would be assigned to the city's recruitment effort. It goes through in detail the methodology and approach, including a 4-step approach that begins with developing a candidate profile, developing marketing materials, outreach and recruiting, evaluation and screening. And the council would have opportunities at each of those milestones to approve publication materials. And obviously, when we get to evaluation and screening, a opportunity or as many opportunities as the council would like to not only review candidate information, but conduct interviews. Pricing is obviously a concern. The price proposal has an estimated fee of $15,000 broken out into the various components of the search, with a dollar amount assigned to each of the four steps. It also has estimated expenses of $2,500 to get an all-inclusive price of $15,000. Tri-Pepe Smith would also provide additional support services beyond the scope billed at their hourly rates, which are included in the proposal. I would note that the initial proposal that I got from Tri-Pepe Smith included 3 additional steps beyond the 4 steps noted in the proposal in your packet. Those additional steps were to actually conduct interviews, notify candidates of the city's decision, and assist in negotiating compensation packages. The price proposal for that was $25,500, and I believe the council wanted to keep it around $15,000. So Tri-Pepe Smith says they can remove those 3 additional steps and do the proposal that's in your packet at $15,000. I would certainly recommend that as part of it. Well, take a step back. Should the council approve the proposal, we would contract with Tri-Pepe Smith using the city's standard consulting agreement with this proposal attached as their scope of work. And I would also recommend that the council consider forming an ad hoc to assist in coordinating efforts by Tri-Pepe Smith as they move forward with the scope of work. In my discussions with Christine, they can get started as soon as they have their signed agreement, and there's time estimate included in the proposal. It's a 10-week total, but they can move as quickly or as slowly as the council directs. With that, I'll open it up for any questions that the council may have.
Ryan, I have 2 questions. One, how would the payment arrangement be set out? Would it be payments or upfront or at the end? How does that work? And then the second one is, what are your thoughts about this proposal professionally and looking at other experiences maybe with pricing?
Yeah, I think this, I'll start with the second question first. I think the $15,000 cost is much lower than what I've seen in other searches. I know a local entity a few years ago spent $35,000 on a general manager recruitment that included most of the things that are being done by Tri-Pepe Smith here. I think the advantage of working with Tri-Pepe Smith, and this is something Councilmember Stefani noted, is that they have their Humboldt information and demographics and information about the region at the ready. There's not a lot of regional research that they need to do. Obviously, they need to develop Blue Lake specific information and marketing materials, but they have a strong list of their network at their disposal from prior searches that eliminates a lot of the groundwork. In terms of how this is billed, my understanding is that they will require a retainer up front and then bill us on a time and materials basis. I believe the initial retainer is $7,000. And then they will bill us on a time and materials basis once that retainer has been depleted, and will be invoiced every 30 days based on work performed after receipt of a detailed invoice.
Thank you.
Lisa, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Matt, do you have any questions?
He answered the questions I had.
Great. Ryan, do they give any guarantee of the candidates length of time that they would have to work here? Or is this just the recruitment portion of it?
Yeah, this is different than a placement agreement. This is recruitment where,
Okay.
you know, they earn their fee as they do the recruiting. There's no guarantee of a successful recruitment. And so that is not part of this.
Great, thank you. Do you guys mind if I open up to the public?
I have a question really quick. I noticed you guys didn't ask me the obvious question. Can you afford it? I hope you'll notice budget is on here later and we will get into that into some detail. But I'm going to be very upfront in saying that if you plan to spend $15,000, I need to know exactly where you plan to pull it from because we don't have that extra just laying around. Just so you know.
Great.
Not opposed to recruiting, not opposed to doing the thing, just saying I'm worried about where's the money going to come from.
Fair.
I think we're all looking forward to digging into the budget and learning about where the money is and where it isn't, and what options we might have available. So thanks. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and open up to the public. Does the public wish to comment on this item? Adeline, go ahead and then I'll get you next. Go.
So there's the International City Manager Association that I looked up city managers of Boulder and other great places and was very inspired by the city manager of Boulder, Colorado, who's now retired, who's the president of this association. And there's over 13,000 members. It costs $1,200 to join, and there's all kinds of, it's a great hub for finding qualified city managers who have had all kinds of experiences. And I don't know like who's allowed to look up people looking for jobs, but I think it's a great resource. I don't know who's I mean I would love it's cost $1,200 to join to be a member. So and I think it'd be fun. Like me and Adeline, we could get together and we could anyway, love you guys.
Thank you. Adeline, go ahead.
So I appreciate Danny Burkhart mentioning the financials, and that is what she is good at, I know. The ousting of our wonderful city manager, Mandy Mager, has already cost the city $30,000, and now we're looking at $15,000. I noticed that this group is from Irvine, and I'm wondering about the cost of transportation. I'm assuming some of this might be done remotely. That happens in the 21st century. I received a phone call about 3 weeks ago from the mayor of Fort Jones, California. Just a coincidence. In Siskiyou County, her name is Madeline DeAndreas. I worked with her sister in Eureka City Schools. And also, they had a tie in their race at Fort Jones, too, which was interesting. And it was between her and another gentleman. And what ended up happening is the other gentleman said, I really didn't want to be on the council. You go ahead and be on the council. And then she became the mayor. Anyway, why she called me is she was really looking at what was happening in Blue Lake, and she warned us about hiring a new manager. She gave me some names, and I won't say them out loud here now, but of people that have gotten into little cities as managers and have really messed up the cities. I mean, caused lawsuits and have just wreaked havoc. So she said, just be careful when you're looking for a new city manager.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Any further public comment before I take it to Zoom? All right. Julie Christie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, everybody. I do have faith in our council to proceed in the manner they feel with our management, recruitment. I have faith in you guys for that. I would say that one thing I'd like review on is the contract. So with our prior, there was indemnification to that contract. And that was the same excuse that was given by that manager of why we shouldn't sign on with our sheriff's contract. Well, I feel like our managers should be responsible in some manner. And I do believe our contract should reflect that a little bit. Because of the prior negligence, we are now going to potentially incur a lot of issues because of prior management. And Ms. Prior Mayor, you're privy to all of that, and perhaps that's why you're always backpedaling. But we need to start pushing forward, and I support you guys moving with filling this position. However, we need to take the burden off Danny as soon as possible. And I suggest that even if we get a part-time or interim, that might be something more applicable. The manager's duties are really simplistic in a way when we have a bunch of departments that are working, including public works, city clerk, financial management, and we have people working within our city hall that are willing to be participants within this process. And I think that's been a little negligent lately too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last call for public comment. Seeing none, moving on to discussion. Further discussion. So what does the council wish to do? This is an action item.
I would like to say that I've also had the opportunity to work with Tri-Pepe Smith, being on board of HCOG, and boy, did they hit it out of the park. This is not the type of organization that is going to bring in your random retiree who is indifferent to the community and is just checking off and the time clock to get their paycheck. Beth was the executive director of HCOG. Very impressive, very capable, very intelligent, very warm. And I was so sad to see her go. Wow. They put in Brendan Bird. Amazing, amazing placement there. So now Beth has moved on to RCA. So while you might look at Tri-Pepe Smith and see, oh, they're from Irvine, as Ryan pointed out and is included in this packet, they have been doing a lot of recruitment here in Humboldt. And they have people with all types of qualifications. They know this area. They really understand placement. I would be thrilled to be part of the ad hoc on this. One, just had opportunity to work with Tri-Pepe Smith, but this is also in my wheelhouse too, in doing recruitment and interviews and such. So I'd be excited.
Michelle, any further comments?
Um, yeah, I wanted to just say thank you for the work, and I would like to work with an ad hoc or at least promote an ad hoc formation for this. I'm reluctant to take any action on this at this point, just given the fact that it's recruitment only, it's a lot of money. While I do want to relieve Danny of her hard work, I also want to be very thoughtful about this, given some of the flux and within this current council as far as other items that are taking our attention. I would promote, or I am going to request or suggest a pause on this until we have a minute to just kind of take a look at the other possibilities for recruitment, look at the possibilities for a contract, look at the possibilities for a temporary, look at some other options before making the move on this. And I'm happy to be part of an ad hoc to continue that discussion, but that is how I'm feeling right now.
Great. Ryan, would there be any additional fees beyond this, or is this a flat fee through the recruitment process?
Yeah, so the only expenses are estimated, 2,500. So they could certainly go beyond that. And then if we require work outside of the scope of work, for example, assistance in negotiating compensation package, have them sit through interviews and provide their feedback. that would be billed at their hourly rates. And so that would be in addition to the fees estimated in the proposal.
And just to confirm, this would be a successful recruitment, or this would just be like one person that bring forward? Is there any criteria on that?
So what they'll do is they will provide a slate of candidates to us based on their recruiting and based on folks that have expressed at least a preliminary interest in the position. And then we will have an opportunity to screen through all of the candidates. They don't guarantee a certain number, but they won't just bring us one and say, if you don't like this person, we'll bring you another. They'll give us the slate, and then we can screen from there.
Okay. Okay. You want to go ahead, Elise?
I was just going to share that with RCEA. You know, what they show in step 4 is kind of the part. Well, they did a great deal of work on the front end with the candidate profile. They came in and they interviewed staff all through the organization, and I really got a feel of what type of a person was being sought. And the marketing materials, and they did all that. And then they brought in, I was on an ad hoc committee to review the candidates. And so they kind of shortlisted for us, you know, their candidates. We were able to review all of the applicants. But they, you know, they kind of ranked like, I think maybe it was the top 5 or something. And then we conducted interviews. And they sat through the interviews. In those interviews, there was a panel interview with all the directors from the different departments, and it was also remote. Well, except for the local folks came in, or did they? No, that was all remote, I think. And then when we narrowed it down to a couple people, we had you know, the ad hoc committee interviewed those folks and then went back to the board with a recommendation. So, and Trepepi Smith did. They did kind of advise us through that. They sat through all the interviews, you know, remotely, and so they helped. I don't believe that they did the contracting, but I'm not certain about that piece. They did charge more than this for that recruitment, and they were, of all the recruitment firms that RCEA went out to and got bids from, they were the lowest. And
Had
the
they
others,
tried other options for recruitment?
had RCEA done that? No, it was not desired to do anything less than this. So just my experience with that situation. And they, you know, RCEA is a fairly large organization with, you know, some HR staff, but they felt that their recruitment warranted, you know, a higher level than what they could do in-house. And also we don't have I mean, we can't burden our staff with this, and it'd be inappropriate for our staff to do this recruitment. So one way or another, we have to go outside of staff that we currently have to do this recruitment. We can't do an in-house recruitment for a city manager when we have an office staff consisting of like 4.5 FTEs. You know, we can't make that part of their. It just wouldn't be, in my opinion, it wouldn't be appropriate to have some folks hire their new boss. You know, we need to do that at a different level. So I'm supporting this proposal myself. I mean, I did wonder if we could do kind of a 2-step thing where maybe first we started out with a local only recruitment, because some of what they do casts a wider net. And see you know, how that might pan out. But anyway, this is the proposal we have at this point. So I don't know if there's any adjustments that could be made, or
I mean, if there was an out of the area kind of recruitment success, where do like relocation fees and all of that kind of come into play?
well, that's all.
Was that something that?
I mean, I'll say that with RCEA, we narrowed it down in the end to 2 candidates. One of them was out of the area, one of them was not. And, you know, we did the classic Humboldt County.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to Humboldt County, are they going to stay? You know? Anyway, but regardless of where your candidates come from, you know, there might be a little wiggle room in this, but there might not. I mean, it seems like I think perhaps Ryan's already gotten the wiggle out of this proposal. So
Well, I would say it is billed on a time and materials basis. So if we want to stop after step 1 or 2 or 3, or limit the scope of any of these items, we have the ability to do so just by not authorizing certain work. You know, on top of let's see, on page 16, you know, the proposal says that support is built on a time and materials basis that allows you the flexibility to ramp up or ramp down efforts according to budget and priorities. So I think, you know, as we move through this, we will have some budgetary control over how expansive their search is. Maybe we ask them to do local first, and then expand the search. And so there may be cost saving opportunities as we go through it.
and I would imagine maybe before we decide to contract with them, we can have a meeting with them. We could have them on Zoom to kind of discuss some of those possibilities and options before we decide to do it.
Is that an option, Ryan, do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Christine Martin, she, I'm sure would be happy to come and present to the board and the council, ask and answer your questions. She herself was a city manager for 21 years, or an assistant city manager in the city of Livermore. So she's very familiar with how this process works and presenting to councils. So I can certainly arrange that.
Thank you.
Yes, I do have some comment.
I just wanted to let the staff know there is an option to table and then bring it back in the same meeting if we wanted to hear about our financial situation first before we make a motion. I just wanted to, and we can bring it back during the same meeting. So just want to let you guys know that if we do want to hear the financial situation before we make a decision on this.
Good point, thank you. Yeah, so we've been, I think, almost 2 months just to get to this point. And, you know, I have made, I brought forward on at least 3 occasions other avenues to be able to recruit for both interim and for permanent city manager, and those have basically been rejected. So at this point, I don't know why we want to continue to dither about when this is what these people do, and they can help develop the process with us. It has an excellent sort of a cafeteria type menu as we go along. But I think any more slow rolling on this only hurts the staff and hurts the city. We really have, as a council, haven't had the ability to even do a visioning for the year, or to be able to reach out to our community and say, what do you want from your budget? We haven't really been able to shape any policy, and I don't see how any of that is really how we're gonna move out of this cycle of kind of being reactionary without getting some other staff in place and also alleviating the staff that we have. I don't see the benefit in waiting any longer. Any other proposal that's come up has been rejected. So if you don't want to use express personnel, if you don't want to recruit for interim, and you don't want to sign in with these, it sounds like you don't want a city manager. I look at what all the different hats that Danny is wearing, and you know, we have other new staff also trying to cover, and it'd be nice to get, you know, the staff back more to their original positions and let them flourish in that. But it's up to us to get this moving.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any more comments before we consider a motion, or?
I would motion to table and hear on the budget first.
We have a motion.
I'm in agreement with that, if we can bring it back later this evening.
I just want to clarify, Danny, that is correct. We can pull it from the table once we table it.
Ryan, how about, can I get your input on that? Thank you.
Yeah, so I missed that. Is the proposal to table it till later in the agenda?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep him on the line.
That's perfectly okay.
Do we need to keep you here for that? Or can we direct Danny to relay information?
No, I can check in with Danny to see what the ultimate outcome is, and I can follow up with Christine as a brother.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'd second.
Does the public wish to comment any further on this item? Seeing none, bring it back to council for a vote to table. Does the council wish to vote to table?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, yes, we voted to table.
Right.
All right, so moving.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Response to HCD letter. This is a discussion direction item. Is Gary here for this?
No, I'm just supposed to get your guys' directions and relay them to Gary.
Okay.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
When the screen looks like that, we get to see ourselves, but we don't see all who's attending the meeting. So I would
Whoever.
like if we could see more people.
I mean,
You can
the
see.
list
I don't
is
know if
on
there's-
the side right there.
Those are all the attendees?
Yes, those are all the people.
Oh.
When they put
Yeah.
their hand up, they come forward, so we can't miss anyone who wants to
Well,
comment.
sometimes when you split the screen a different way, all those little boxes get smaller, and then you can get a sense of how many people are here.
Mhm. You can do
16.
gallery, you
16.
can do, yeah, speaker view.
All right. Well, let's keep going with the HCD letter.
Thank you.
Oh, there's
Oh,
Gary.
there's Gary.
Hi,
Gary is
Gary.
here.
Oh, Gary is here. You were right.
Stealthy.
Yes, I am
Gary.
here this evening.
Oh,
It's
good.
your turn.
All right, Gary. Who would like to give us some information on the HCD letter? Danny or Gary?
Gary, go for it.
Okay. So as you saw
Sir?
in Danny's staff report, we did request clarification from HCD about what specifically they meant by moving up adoption of the housing element by a month or two. And I'm glad we requested clarification because they did clarify that they meant both adoption of the housing element and the rezoning action. And in essence said that both be submitted sooner than stated in the city's original timeline, and noted by that meant with 1 to 2 months as a minimum suggested change. So that's the response we received from HCD. They're in essence asking the city to move that timeline up a bit. So we'd be looking for direction from the council on a potential response or whether to respond to what HCD requested.
Gary, did they offer to provide any additional legal services or any additional legal advice? That was one of our questions, I believe, to assist with questions that we may have.
So HCD's staff is always available to assist jurisdictions with complying with housing law. So certainly, I'm not sure that would necessarily be in the form of legal advice, but their staff and their housing policy department and other relevant departments are typically available for technical assistance.
Great, thank you. Council, do you have any further questions?
Can I add to
Yeah, sure.
Gary's summation of the thing? I would like to bring to council's attention that the housing element cycle is about to restart, and we will be doing this all over again very shortly. Just
Great.
to keep that in mind.
And just to clarify that point, so I know that this current cycle goes through 2027. Does it go all the way through the calendar year of 2027, or is there a point during the year where we switch from a 6th cycle to the 7th cycle?
I'd have to look at the exact date. I can't answer that question at this time.
Okay, thank you. And the other question would be then, if we do the housing element update and it gets certified in the next 6 or 8 months, is there a whole bunch of changes that are going to be asked for the next cycle? Or we don't know yet?
I would say generally that housing element law tends to change a lot. They're always adding new requirements. And we have heard from HCOG, there will be a meeting tomorrow where they will be presenting the overall allocation that's proposed for the county as a whole. and talking about the methodology on how to split it amongst all the various jurisdictions in the county. And our understanding is that number is a bit higher than it was for this current cycle. So jurisdictions will have to plan for even more housing than they did in this current cycle.
Great.
Everybody together.
You should get an Oscar for that.
It's awesome.
Any further questions from council before we open up to the public? All right, does the public wish to comment on this item?
All right. I recommend that the council move the timeline. We're just splitting hairs here. I know we don't like it when the state tells us what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. In a perfect world, a city would look at its citizens and the amount of housing they have and say, you know, we need more housing. We don't have children at the school. We don't want firefighters living in the fire hall, that kind of thing. That's a perfect world. And the city would say, yeah, let's make more affordable housing. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. And a lot of cities, a few cities anyway, are trying to fight the state. And it's a losing battle. You know, it's just the way it is. We need to have affordable housing. And I appreciate Gary talking about the fact that it might go up in 2 years because people are really honed in on, well, we only need 35 houses or, you know, dwellings. But then in 2 years, they might increase that by 10. So that's why we were looking at more like 40 to 45. Anyway, I'm in favor of affordable housing.
Thank you. Further public comment? No one? Julie Christie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, council. Everybody's had good due diligence with patience this evening. I appreciate that. As far as our housing element goes, I don't want to do tit for tat, but dang, our prior speaker, you know how many years I sat in public comment with many other speakers telling the facts of we need a general plan update, we need descriptive analysis of what was redacted, what was added, what was state mandated. We have promoted infrastructure and public safety as a priority for site approvals and zoning. And you know what? You want to know the perfect place to put some housing? Right where you guys are sitting. I'm not joking. That is one of the perfect spots. So, as far as we continue this process, just do due diligence. Gary, I hope you have some ethics at this point to follow through with due diligence to make sure these things are followed through on, and our council as well. And reach out to HCD. Thank you for doing that. It's all we needed to do in the first place instead of getting all this gaslight and lies. I'm sorry. I just get fed up sometimes, you guys. We've worked really hard on this, and there are a lot of things that we do need to adjust. I do believe it deserves a special meeting so that we're not overwhelmed like we are tonight, so we can go into greater dialogue and perspective of the community and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further public comment on Zoom? All right, seeing none, bring it back to public here. Does anyone wish to comment last time? Okay. All right, seeing it none, go ahead and bring it back to the council. What do we want to do?
Well, if we bring that, if we bring the HI 14 into the December deadline, do you think that'd make them happy? Gary?
Yeah, I mean, they're asking for a minimum month or two for each of these items. So that would seem to meet the request.
So yeah, if we try to just do them both by the end of December, or maybe we try to say we'll do them by December 15th. That's total of 2.5 months on one item and half a month on the other item. Hey, that's a total of 3 months. How about that?
And you're talking about both elements, both pieces of
Both
requirement.
pieces, December 15th.
I'm fine with that. I think my original back on May 27th was that we would try for November 30th and December 31st, but
Seems like
that's a
seems like
compromise.
they maybe have a thing about backing it right up to the end of the year.
Yeah, gonna get that
Yep.
in.
Councilmember Napier? Yeah,
Yeah,
December 15th?
good.
For both.
For both.
Yes, for both, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All
and I
right.
think, just to clarify with Gary, and I assume the answer will be yes, but I think you had to put zoning sometime afterwards, maybe it was in that February, but you're also obviously, I assume, comfortable with December 15th for both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
Danny, do you have any comments?
I think 12:15 is great.
Great.
Let's do it.
And I did have one more item for the council, the electronic sites inventory. I wanted to touch on that. So we have prepared a draft and we've looked through all the instructions on completing it. And we have a clarification we want to request from HCD. And that is, if we were to submit that now, does that lock the city into the site inventory that's currently in the housing element update? Or do you still have the ability to amend it through this review process that you want to conduct? I want to make sure we're not locking the city in and that you have that ability. So I would like to email HCD if the council would like us to ask for that clarification. If that's the case and they say, yeah, it does lock you in, we would expect you not to make any amendments after that, then I would change the timeline and possibly just align it with when we submit the housing element update.
Okay.
Gary, just confirming 12:15 for everything then?
That would probably be where I pivot. If they respond that it would lock you in for the site inventory in the element, yes.
Okay.
I appreciate your clarifying that question about the sites. So that makes sense to get that clarification before you make that commitment.
Would it be fair to say that anytime you feel like you need clarification, you have our blessing? Can we give a blanket blessing on, by all means, always get clarification if you feel it's necessary?
That seems reasonable.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm all for that.
Great.
Green
Sounds
light.
great. Appreciate that.
Okay, so can we get a motion to change or continue our conversation?
So I would move that we make the deadline for submission of the housing element update and program HI 14 to December 15th, 2025.
Second.
Oh, we have first and a second. Any public comment? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Gary.
Great.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, moving on to commission appointments, item number 12. So discussion action item. Do we have our potential commissioners here?
We do.
Barbara Russell, would you please come forward?
Sure. Okay. So first I want to say that if you appoint me, I'm happy about that, but I'd also be happy to be a group and be something a little less formal for a little while until maybe a commission is more required. So that would be okay with me too.
Well, I mean, I think at this point we really want to get our Arts and Heritage Commission going.
Okay.
At this time.
Okay.
If you are applying for it,
Yes.
would you mind asking or answering some questions?
Sure.
Great. I'm going to let the council ask first.
All right. What brings you passion for joining this commission?
Well, I love arts and heritage and how it can help how it can move people forward because we can share ideas and we could learn to understand each other. And also we can foster creativity that could help solve our problems coming from the community up.
I like that. Thank you.
I know you also expressed Kat, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I know you also expressed interest in the economic development
Yeah.
agency as well. How would you blend the two together?
I think that they very much do blend when we do things that support arts and crafts, is small business development, I think everybody's got the potential to do something to contribute, and it can just help get some of those creative juices flowing. And I think that small business development and like old-fashioned skill sets is something that can also bring people together politically. Like I think too, when you want a tree to grow, you don't cut it at its roots. You know, you take care of those roots, and we then through imagining what's possible, and through art we can express that, you know, to each other, non-verbally or however, you know, and so get like I see, so all I see in Blue Lake is opportunity and potential, because it's not wrecked yet. It's not all built up. We are so lucky, and we're a city, so we have a lot of creative license, truthfully, and so it's exciting to be able to imagine something that can make sense and include everybody. You know, economics from the bottom up, and like to see everybody learn to appreciate each other's success, and you know, and to me that's also safety. That's also community safety, and build self-esteem and local food. I mean, so many ways it's good.
Great, thank you.
So
Elise,
I'm good.
you're good, no questions?
Yes.
Any further questions?
Yeah, thanks for being here. A
Oh.
lot of times when people think of the arts, they think of the visual arts.
Mm.
But music also has been a very strong element here
Mhm.
and Blue Lake, and yet sometimes it seems like it's a little underrepresented. Do you have any particular interest or passion in music and how that might help transform?
Arts comes in so many forms, expression and creative. Yeah, absolutely. I love music. I sing. I don't necessarily, you know, I mean, I appreciate it. I'm haven't practiced piano for a while.
Well, we don't
But
need
yeah,
you to be a performer.
yeah, like
But
for me, arts is not just for decoration. You know, it's something that can inspire each other.
thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Does the public have any questions? I'll bring my mic forward.
Mm.
Or do you want me to bring in?
I'll share with
Um,
Barbara. No, I just want to say that Barbara and I disagree on some things, but unlike what some people have said this evening and at other meetings, I don't think we all need to agree on everything. It would be a boring world if we did.
We're a stronger fabric if we don't, and we can still come together.
So, I mean, on commissions, that's what gives us the lively dialogue and ideas come out. And so I'm encouraged by all kinds of disagreements and agreements wherever they
We can still come
happen.
together and appreciate each other
Exactly.
and listen to each other. Oh, that was really nice.
Great, thank you.
Great.
Any further public comment? Julie Christie, go ahead.
Yes, John, do we have our other applicant in the building to speak tonight, or is Barbara the only one?
We have,
Because I'd like to hold my public comment until both applicants have spoke, if that's fine.
that's fine.
Are you gonna accept them individually?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll speak on Barbara now then. I would like to promote her application and the contingency that Arts and Heritage can warrant its, viability to the city. I do think it's great that she sat through the meeting tonight and was there to speak this evening, and has gone to prior meetings. And if I'm busy and miss my next applicant, those are the attributes I'd like to see in applicants, that they've actually come and endured some of the politics that we have to deal with. They're willing to sit through meetings, get up to a podium, speak, and have due diligence with being reciprocals of our council through our community. That's the next thing is, you know, you're really directing these commissions, and I just want to make sure everybody that's applying is adhering to that contingency within their application. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. If I miss the next one, thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, does the council wish to entertain a motion? If there's no further public comment? Seeing none?
I would move to appoint Barbara Russell to the Arts and Heritage Commission, please.
Second.
A first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 It passes.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, our next applicant is Rua. Do you want to come forward? Thank you for coming.
Welcome to Blue Lake.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on the Arts and Heritage?
Yeah, sure. So I've just been in Blue Lake for a couple of months, about 3 months now, and I've lived in Humboldt County for over 20 years, and went to grad school here, moved away, came back, and I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm an indie publisher. I'm a teacher at College of the Redwoods, and until COVID, it was at Cal Poly as well. I've had a very varied past, so I have a lot of experience in a whole bunch of different varied areas. I really respect the comment that was it Lisa made just at the last comment there, that I do believe it's important to show up and to know what's going on. Admittedly, I'm new. So I don't know all the politics yet, which can be a blessing and a curse because I'm objective.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
But I think it is really important that someone that wants to be on a commission, and I second what Barbara said and what Marty said earlier, that I'm happy to, I'm applying for the commission. I'm happy to be on that, but I can also see benefits of being on a group and being able, I really believe in public input. And so I think being on the commission, that would be one thing I'd really want to push for, is getting lots of public input on things, getting the community more involved in choices that are being made for the city of Blue Lake. That's so important. And it's empowering and it brings people together. So some of me.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
I'll go right to left, if that's okay, Kat.
Great. And really, truly, we're just so happy to see this energy and the positivity and the diversity. And I'm going to ask you the same thing. Where do you stand on like music and incorporating that into the, into the Arts and Heritage Commission and the fabric of Blue Lake?
Well, music, theater, visual arts, ceramics, even public jams, as far as like poetry jams. Those are so important for a community. And the city of Blue Lake, we have these awesome public performances every week. Lizzie Moonbeam down at the pub, and lots of rockin' things happen down at the brewery. I think Barbara has talked repeatedly about possible festivals and fairs and how we could bring something like that to Blue Lake, and involve all the different varieties of art. So you might have street jugglers, you might have musicians, you might have painters, muralists, another version of the what's it called, the pastels in the plaza kind of thing for Blue Lake. I mean, there's so many opportunities depending on what the people of Blue Lake would like to see happen in their town.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh yeah, I just really appreciate both Barbara and, is it Rua or Cindy?
Cindy's my legal name, but
Okay.
I've been going by Rua for about 10 years now.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate your approach, and it's really given me a chance to reflect a little bit. I tend to be my worldview tends to be very linear. And it seems to me that you two are bringing in a more relative, relational, holistic kind of approach that could be used as maybe like a builder's approach. And if any of you are not familiar with builders, look up builders. And it's really what we do need in this community right now, is building our community. And it's I think that your ideas are very inspirational to me right now. I'm getting lots of good feelings about arts and heritage and the possibilities of a builders community, and moving forward with that. But I welcome you both to, I'm just going to say, welcome you both to this commission and the community.
Thank you. I pass, then I would appreciate that.
It's looking so shaky, huh?
I know.
Not
I'm
so
on pins and needles up here.
Out of all your qualifications, what are you most proud of?
Which are many.
Um, hmm. I think it was probably the project that was the hardest, and that if you asked me now if I wanted to do it, I would say no, never again.
Mhm.
But it is the thing I'm proudest of, and that's putting together the first anthology of plein air painters for Humboldt County. Um, it was 3 years of really hard work, and it started to come together just as COVID hit. So everyone who was going to work on it with me backed out. And to go through a project that normally takes 15 or 20 people working as a team together, all on your own, was daunting and hard, but I didn't give up. And I think that says a lot about me, that um, I've struggled with health and all kinds of different challenges in life, but I have learned through a lot of hard knocks not to give up.
Thank you. Awesome. Elise?
Well, I met Rua yesterday at Coffee Club, and that was enjoyable.
Happy birthday to you.
And anyway, I would just, I don't really have any questions. I think we got to know each other a little bit yesterday, and there you go.
Does the public have any questions for Rua? Do you want to share the mic?
I'll share with her. Yeah. You know, I like that you said you only lived here for 3 months. Is that right? Because, you know, I don't care if people have lived here for 3 months or 30 years. Because to me, if you love Blue Lake, you want to serve, you're so qualified. I think we're just lucky to have you. And thank you so much for applying to this. And I have a very special place in my heart for arts and heritage because I was mayor at the time when we got that commission together, and so it's a special commission for me. But when I see people like you and Barbara step forward, we're just very, very lucky, and thank you.
It's an internet connection issue. It's not, nothing I can do about it.
And it's trying to reconnect.
It's trying.
Okay. Yikes. Okay. Well, that's a shame.
Well, we have a recording, right? So
We have that recording.
Okay.
Well,
We were relying on that recording.
all
I
right.
would like to move that we appoint Rua to the Arts and Heritage Commission.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Hang on. Does anyone wish to comment? We lost Zoom for a moment on Rua's appointment.
Okay.
Last call for comment.
I don't know.
All right, we have a first and a second to appoint Rua to the Arts and Heritage Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, let's see. We have a 5-minute stretch break.
Yay.
Right.
Arts and Heritage
Just
can
in
I'm really
now
glad I
form
put that
a
on there now.
quorum.
Yes.
Yay. Yay.
Nice. Let's start working on
All
it.
right. Welcome back. All right. Stretch break is over. Moving on to fiscal year 2025-2026 budget update discussion action item. Danny Burkhart, go ahead and fill us in on this.
Okay, so basically for tonight's purposes, I wanted to get this in front of you before the end of June. There's some things that are still kind of out in the ethers right now. I don't know how much money we're gonna get, for instance. I don't know how much money we're gonna get from the Supplemental Law Enforcement Fund. The state has not yet decided how much we're going to be allocated for that fund, so I'm not sure how much it's gonna be for what we are allocated this year. I won't know probably till the end of July.
Does that delay our overall budget adoption? or
No,
is
it just means an amendment, but don't bank on that number being the right number for the purposes of tonight's discussion. Because I don't know if it is the right number yet or not. It can be open if there's nobody like having extra conversations in the.
Or it's a little cool
breezeway.
sometimes. Anyway, so do we, I don't know that we ever know when that,
We usually do know by the end of May, the beginning of June. We
Okay.
usually do know.
okay.
But this time we don't. That's my main
So I
thing
noticed,
to point out.
I noticed our number for last year is higher than, it was supposed to be.
What do you
Right?
mean?
Which number?
Which
Sorry.
number is higher?
The actual number, the projected actual for the supplemental law enforcement services grant is higher. We were expecting 170,000 and it shows 185,000.
Yes, we received 185 and then we ended up paying out. Yes, it's in the packet. We ended up paying out a total of, instead of 170, 159 this year, we ended up paying, this is, first of all, this is 185. This is a projection based on what we got last year. Last year, we paid an actual of 190 and change
Right.
to our law enforcement services.
Right, but I'm saying what we received.
Yeah,
Last
what we
year
received was
received
185.7, was just under the 185.
for this year.
That's what we received for 24-25. We have not yet received our allocation for supplemental law enforcement services for 25-26.
Right. But we were expecting 170,000 for 24-25 and we got 185.
Right, which went
Which
and
is
got
kind of
spent.
nice. Yes. But I'm just saying, well, we don't know what the state's going to do. Maybe
Yeah, we
it'll
don't
go
know what
down,
the state's
maybe it'll go down, but it's gone up every year.
It has gone up. This number here, the 185,771, is if there's a 3% increase to the number. This is if they give us a 3% increase to our what we got last year. That's that 185 that's in your current draft budget for this year, this coming fiscal year that starts on the 1st of July.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things to point out. The other big thing to point out is going to be on page. Actually, let's go with your graph. That's going to be way easier for the purposes of where we are tonight. It's going to be on page 8 of the budget packet. It is a graph. And for those in the audience who would like to see, our general fund is currently, with this projected budget, going to be approximately $121,932 over budget. I.e., I don't have that money somewhere I can just take it from and put it in the general fund. And this is just to sustain what we currently have going on with respect to salaries and wages, with respect to our contracted professional services. This is not giving an increase to the city manager. That is not in here. The 90 grand you guys approved for the previous manager back in March, that's what your wages and salaries is based on for your city manager position for the purposes of this budget. With their benefits included, that's going to be a total package of about $140,000 over the whole year, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at there. Salary, it goes without saying, salaries and wages tends to be the biggest part of our budget as far as, coming out of our general fund, and that's just due to the fact that we have staff and cost of living increases and the normal things that we would expect. Things I don't expect to change too terribly much: highway users tax fund, TDA street fund, TDA purchase transportation fund, those kinds of special revenues. I'm not expecting them to change terribly much. We estimated a 1% increase on those because they do tend to go up about 1% a year. And then your CBDG program income, that's all going to stay the same because we haven't applied to be in the program for more money. I'm going through in order.
okay.
10, 11, I'm on 11 now. We'll go to 12 next. Because basically 12 through 14 is going to be our enterprise funds, our water and sewer. We're going to be having to do another rate study probably for water and sewer bills because we are not currently meeting cost recovery and the water fund.
And the rate study that did happen where the new rates took effect in early 2023, that was a 5-year study. So there's 5 years worth of increases that are happening only in the second year.
We may need to revisit that. because basically our water bills, our water and sewer bills need to be cost recovered. The enterprise fund can't operate without it.
Okay, so please define cost recovery.
Meaning that the services we provide are recouped in the form of being basically divided against the whole population that gets water service in Humboldt, or in Blue Lake, excuse me.
Mhm. And the intention, I think, of that was to, over 5 years, remedy that situation.
Right. And after the first 2 years, it was looking pretty hopeful that we would be in good shape. But it's not, we're currently not holding at cost recovery due to a bunch of the aging infrastructure for water distribution and having done rather large repairs this year and anticipating a few more in the next fiscal year. This is why I'm saying we may need to revisit this. Our sewer system, our sewer thing is in a little bit better situation because we haven't had nearly the amount of repairs that we need to do come out of there. There are going to be some upcoming expenditures coming out of there that are going to need to happen to upgrade our infrastructure. Most of that's going to come out of the capital fund for sewer.
Right?
Should
Does all of that come out of the capital fund?
Some of it does. It depends on the expense type and how much it is. That's what dictates whether or not we can capitalize it or not.
But if it's a planned improvement of 5,000 or more, it comes out of that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we just bundle everything and it's 5,000 or more.
I wish it were that simple.
Can you explain? I mean, I'm not expecting like you to explain, but can you explain why we're seeing such a different vision with regards to our rate increases from the prediction to what's actually happening?
Well, there's a couple of things that have happened that you couldn't predict for. Is this level of leaks that we have had to correct. Nobody has a crystal ball. You can't predict those amounts. And usually, they happen. And some years you go a whole year and you don't have any of it, and it's great. It's the unpredictable nature of having infrastructure, unfortunately. Yeah, that's really the only reason that we would need to adjust course.
And obviously, I know this is what, this wasn't your position at the time, but is there anything we could have done to do preventive maintenance or like reviewed that?
We've done a lot of that, and our public works team is really on top of that kind of stuff, and they do try to get to the things ahead of before they become that large of a problem. But the problem with water distribution is that a lot of it's underground and you don't see it till it is a problem. So, there is only so much preventative maintenance we can do. Some of this is just going to be aging infrastructure. The pipes and things that were used back in the day are deteriorating, and every material that you use in construction has a lifespan, and it comes to the end of that span at some point.
And do we have like a rainy day fund or anything like that for these kind of things, or did we ever?
We've been pretty much using it. To my knowledge, we've been using it.
So why are our water revenues projected to go down next year?
Water revenues are projected to go down next year. I don't know that they're necessarily going down. It's that our expenditures are exceeding what we're bringing in.
Well, I'm just looking on page 31 under Water Fund 60. The total revenue for this year was budgeted at 616, projected actual is 610, and we're budgeting next year for 598. So it doesn't make sense that we're dropping. And
we have less water customers right now than we did have before.
Okay.
We currently have more vacancies of water connections. And that's just at the point in time when we pulled the reports for budgeting.
Okay.
So that could change. It's always, with your revenues, it's always better to be very conservative because it's great if you get more money, but it's not great if you plan to have that money and it doesn't come.
Sure.
But yeah, that's going to be the big thing there.
And then I'm wondering, in expenditures, I saw it here and I saw it in several other other spots, the increase in salaries and wages and employee benefits seems disproportionate. And so I'm wondering if you can talk about that.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by disproportionate.
It's a great deal more than 3%. And I could pull some things. I'll need a second to find the different lines that I was looking at.
Minus 185.
Somebody else go ahead. I'll find that.
Yeah, actually, I had same similar question and seeing that.
So in general government, I notice it is about that 3%. And then under building, that's irrelevant. It's little tiny.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Public Works, we're closer to 10% in Public Works. And that's Department 320, which is the smaller of the Public Works Department, the streets. And then in parks, park facilities, we go from 58,000 to 83,000. So that's a pretty big jump.
Which page are you on there?
I'm on page 24. So we have a significant jump, park facilities fund or Department 425. So we have big increases there. So I would like an explanation about those. And then Parks and Rec wages and salaries, that's pretty consistent. Well, it is and it isn't. So we had a budget of 182,491. We have a projected actual of 138,877, but we're budgeting for the following year at 183,109. So that appears to require an explanation.
What page are you on?
24. Recreation Department, 445. So we have a substantial increase from projected actuals to the budgeted number, and they are substantial. Well, the employee benefits number is quite a bit higher than the budgeted number from prior year.
Yeah, we're at almost $250,000 right there, just on salaries and benefits.
So, so those are the things that jumped out that I thought would warrant some further information.
I'm making some notes on that. I will have to revisit the spreadsheet that explains all of how we got to these numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, this is an 80-page document. I don't have that all in my brain.
So to be clear, just to follow up, Elise, on what you're saying on page 24. So I saw that both in parks, park facilities, Department 425, and in Recreation Department 445, some really significant increases for salary, wages, and employee benefits.
Right.
So we'd like to get greater detail on.
Yeah, I can
previous
get
and
I can get that for you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
And then the only other thing I wanted to point out is on page 22. You'll notice legal Department 160. In previous years, we've budgeted $5,000.
Well, we were delusional in previous years.
Because, your attorneys were only attending maybe one meeting per year, if that, and maybe providing you with some legal briefs, and that was probably about it. Currently, your projected actual for 24-25 is $44,000. But if you continue at the rate of attorney's fees as you have been from the first 6 months of this year, that will put us at a budget of $100,000 for attorney's fees in 25-26. And that's just based on a projection of at the rate we're currently doing. So if there's a way we can maybe not have that be so high, when our general fund little deficit thing can be a little bit less.
I think one of the two key factors in that, and again, very grateful for both of you guys being here. But having a professional city manager here, and then also a full-time city clerk who can kind of support us with parliamentary procedure, really can go a long way to diminish the cost that we would need with, I mean, the attorney was present here many, many times with the prior city manager. So I think it is also a matter of, like the recruitment for the city manager. You consider those skill sets that kind of supplement or that can address some of what the attorney is sort of backfilling. I mean, not saying that we're looking to hire an attorney as a city manager, but certainly a lot of things have been sort of procedural, and I think there's been an over-reliance there. So certainly, and then we also have to give consideration to how many times we've had bests and we've had housing and we've had some other large items come in.
Yeah, and this is a really unusual year
Mm-hmm.
for giant contracts and really big stuff. So I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't think we're being wasteful with our attorney
No, I'm not
hours.
saying that. I'm just saying that's one of the areas that if you wanted to try and address something
Sure.
to bring that deficit down, that'd be one of the easier areas to address it in. Point of clarification on what Kat mentioned. Oh God, and it just went out my brain.
It'll come back.
Oh, wages and salaries. I do not have a full-time city clerk in this budget.
Right.
I have lawyer. I have a $90,000 a year city manager. I have lawyer. And then I have existing staff. That's all that's in here. There
Understood.
was no room to put a full-time city clerk.
Mhm. I think it's also understood too that the city clerk position had been parceled out to many other staff members.
Mhm.
And it's the desire, it's been really expressed by the public repeatedly, and I think this council too, to have a city clerk, a fully fleshed out city clerk position. And that might, require reconstituting that. In other words, pulling those duties away from other staff. But
I understand the
place priority on
desire,
that.
but I'm not sure how we're going to pay for that desire
Mhm.
at this point.
Right.
I completely understand and with that desire, with it. However, I'm not sure how to pay for it. And that's pretty much why I bring you guys what I'm bringing you is because I want to be able to pay for these things. And I want us all to have nice things. I want our city to have nice things. The ways that I see that we can address some of these things, I want to be reinstating and reinvigorating our TOT program where people who have Airbnbs are paying their transient occupancy taxes as they should.
They're currently not?
There are some that are currently not.
Okay.
I would like to increase enforcement of this existing ordinance. That is one low-hanging fruit that can bear some fruit. It's not the silver bullet solution, but it is a piece of a solution.
Mhm.
Other opportunities I've identified are that we can revisit our building and planning fees. Our schedule of fees has not been touched since 2011. So it's not up to parity with what is going on around us as far as what a conditional use permit costs, for instance. We're not up to parity with that, and we're not up to cost recovery with that yet. So that's another area where we can increase our cost recovery and the fees coming into the city that way. The other area of opportunity is to continue on focusing on a recreation economy. This is something that is showing to bear fruit elsewhere in the county and the state, and it's worth the investment in marketing, I would think, to promote our facilities for things like weddings and family reunions, other types of events that help add to the bottom line of where our revenues are coming from. And the great thing about facility rentals for us, that money is discretionary. We can take it and use it for other things, not just parks.
So I think that the facilities rates and rental income have been of interest for a long time. And I would like to see a breakdown of the income we've had in the last year and see where it came from.
And include all the properties that we currently are
Mhm.
responsible for.
Well, that's going to be under your page 20 under rents.
Right.
Okay.
That is your facilities right now. You get rent from Little League, you get rent from the resource center that occupies Skinner store when we're not in it. The caretaker cabin in the park that gets rented out to somebody that lives there, and the other park facilities, which is like skate rentals and things like that, party facility rentals. That's going to be that 19.8 right there. That's projected.
Well, that
Do we
I
have any?
thought parties, skate parties is on a different line. Skate parties is on page 21. Under
Oh yeah, sorry.
Parks and
Excuse me. The
Recreation
skating
fees.
and party fees. The other ways that we rent
Mhm.
facilities, the other park facilities that we rent are that 19.
Right, and so that's projected to be 19.8,
Mm-hmm.
or it's budgeted for 19.8, and it was budgeted for 25,000 last year, but we only brought in 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see where that 10,000 came from, because well, 6 years ago, it was $1,500 for a weekend rental of Paragon Park and Crash Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, and I believe that those rates have gone up since then, but I'm wondering if with all the events that we have here, why are we breaking down to 10,000? That should be much, much higher.
That's all we took in this year.
Well, I'd like to see that broken out as to where it came from, like how much for this festival, how much for that festival,
Okay.
and so forth, because we need to take a peek at that and see where those revenues are coming from and where they're not coming from, and try to figure out what the problem is there. Are we not renting the facilities often enough? Are we not charging enough? How's that breaking down? Because a lot of events are making a lot of money in Parago Park, and we're coming up with 10 grand. That doesn't pencil.
Do we have
Doesn't
any
pencil at all.
other facilities? Sorry, Elise.
Go ahead.
Do we have any other facilities that we are not currently collecting rent from, that maybe would not be in here?
Not that I can think of. Everything
Okay.
that's rentable and rented is bringing in the income as assigned by its contract.
Okay.
I don't think we have any vacancies on Mondo right now, so maybe we have one. That would be the only thing, and I don't think we even have that vacancy right now. I think that was
Okay.
filled.
And is say the doghouse in here somewhere?
The doghouse is it's either under park facilities or it's under.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it's under the park facility.
20 or 21?
Yeah, it's on 20 or 21, and it's either that park facilities or it's under the. I forgot what the other title of the thing was. I can send that to you guys in an email. I have a whole spreadsheet that says here's where all our assumptions
I would
came
expect,
from.
yeah, I would expect like a consistent rate across the board. You'd know what it's going to be, and it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
be up
something like
to
six.
rental.
It's something like 6 or 7 grand a year.
Would we be allowed to see the spreadsheet? Like,
I mean,
or
yeah.
get a digital copy of it?
Yeah,
obviously.
totally. It's not something I usually include in a packet.
So it is it's totally digital, so you can just email it to us.
Yeah, I can email.
Okay.
Right.
Email assumptions.
So if I'm seeing this correctly, then on page 20, like for instance, the caretaker cabin, projected actual 6,600, so that's about $550 a month rental for that.
I think it's over 600.
Yeah,
It's either
like
600 or
650
650.
or 7, something like that.
So that kind of looks like it was.
Oh, I see, because we
vacant.
still have a couple of months left. Still 6 or 7, but does that include water? Does that include electric?
No.
Okay. Just curious. And then the same with some of the other facilities. I think it would be important to know, and maybe this might be a longer term project, but it seems like a lot of the fees really haven't been updated, and the cost recovery, just the concept of it has been rather vague, that people came out, they had a good time. And we're not looking to make a ton of money, but we for sure have to at least break even when we're hosting events, when we're providing a facility, when we're providing utilities, water, garbage, any of that.
Yep.
And then also the amount of staff time and materials that go in to preparation for some of these events and activities.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that'd be something for you working with the staff or the director of, Parks and Recreation.
Yep, I'm already got that going on. That's
Excellent.
why I identified it as an area of opportunity.
Right. Did you have other
Well said.
ideas or opportunities that you were aware of? Any other funding that we
Those
would?
are the big ones right
Okay.
now. Grants in general are in a sketchy place right now, so
Yeah.
we're not sure what we're gonna get out of that bag in the
Okay.
next year.
Mhm.
That's my idea is we focus on economic development, our schedule of fees, and our other low-hanging fruit where we can
Mhm.
maximize efficiency and make sure that we're doing as much cost recovery as possible. Those are really like our options at the moment.
On that, and I really appreciate that you're already looking into other areas and how to improve cost recovery, get it a little more equitable for the city, and reflecting those costs. That said, I know some of the forms, many of the forms that we have were useful at their time, but are really outdated. One, for instance, would be our employment application to ask for the salary history. That has to be removed. That's been illegal, I think, since 2018 in the state of California and a lot of other places as well. But to get into where it matters with the money is, for instance, when people apply for a business license or to do business here. I think it's important to include that they have, showing their seller's permit, the number for that we can verify it, their DBA, any of their permits or certificates that are required for them to do that business. Because a lot of the things that we have are so informal that I think those are, actual opportunities that the city is missing. One, to make sure that people who are coming in and doing business are doing so appropriately and legally. And two, that we are able to catch it. We want to talk about economic development. Let's make sure that we're actually capturing those tax dollars.
Like for Annie and Mary Day, we have, 2 or 3 dozen at least vendors. Are they all paying sales tax?
I don't run Annie and Mary Day, so I don't know. That's not my purview. I don't run Annie and Mary Day. That's the Chamber of Commerce as far as I'm
Right.
And it's their event, it's their responsibility to make sure that their vendors are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Right,
and I think,
I can't police other people's events.
No,
That's
no, no.
pretty
I
much
think
how that goes.
seems like a rhetorical.
But I mean, I would like for people who do business in our city to do it appropriately and correctly. We already have ordinances on the books, and it's a complaint-driven process. If somebody says so and so doesn't have a thing, then I get a complaint and I follow up on it. It's, there's not really much. I can't spend staff time and hours making sure every person who signs up for a business license has then also signed up for, their seller's permit and all of the things that don't run through our agency. I can ask them for proof of it, but they
Well,
generally provide that anyway when they're doing permit applications.
And what I'm saying is that there is no trigger currently on that business license form to even ask it or to write it down. And I think that's so fundamental to the idea of people doing business here, where we are trying to improve our revenue through taxes and sales taxes. So, these are small but important triggers.
Right. Well, it says on the business license application that you're expected to comply with all the rules and regulations that apply to your business. And that part of that is paying your sales tax and getting your permits and doing all of the things that are required for your business. So we do have that language already out there. It's in ordinance and it's on the business license application saying you must comply with these things. If you're found not to comply, then consequences apply.
And that's even for a temporary business license, like the 1-day deals and all that.
The 1-day deals are, what enforcement are you going to do on a 1-day business
Well, it's
license?
not about enforcement, it's about putting it on the application and letting the proprietor know that this is a requirement.
Yes, it's on all of the applications. Yeah. It's just, again, it's a matter of enforcement, which we, don't have a whole lot to give for that right this second.
Okay.
And there's not a whole lot of benefit or gain to the city monetarily to do that. We're not, it doesn't make them give us more money. Whereas addressing our schedule of fees and addressing other kind of things like that are, I feel like, a more of an important priority.
So is our general fund running $121,000 deficit at the moment?
With this budget,
So what
as
is
it is.
And
current.
last year, where were we last year?
Well, and there's, apparently we have outstanding invoices too that are beyond that. How do we factor that into our budget?
I mean, I can only account for what I know about. I can't
Mhm.
pull things out of a crystal ball and put it into your budget. Budget is a snapshot in time. It's not the end all be all that covers all of into perpetuity for this whole year. That's what budget amendments are for. You are going to have those.
For sure.
So previous reports, recent reports, not, last 6 months, were like, looked healthy. What's changed at this point?
What's changed is, well, we're paying 2 people to be city manager at the same time because of separation agreements. We were paying 2 finance managers at the same time. And those are things that are definitely an impact, into the tens of thousands of dollars range. Not hundreds, but tens of thousands of dollars. And then, of course, everything has its annual increase. Everything. Expenses, not all of our revenues are increasing at the same rate as our expenses. We've had over 20% inflation in just public works materials costs in the last year.
What would you do to increase revenue to make up this deficit, or is that's probably a bigger
I
question?
feel like I've already addressed that question by identifying areas of opportunity for you to address.
Thank you.
For us to move on to addressing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I know our budget, our total revenues and expenditures for last year out of the general fund were inflated because of the Greenwood road project by about 1.5 million. So those numbers look, we went from 2.5 million to 1,018,000. So I guess part of my question is, have you analyzed last year to see if we were in the same position or a similar position last year, or where the money was coming from and where the money was going last year as compared to this year? Like, have you identified anything?
I haven't had a chance to do any forensic budgeting. I've not had a chance to look at it. I've only had time and energy to give you a current snapshot of what we're looking at.
Okay.
Do we want to open up to the public? Or you guys have more questions?
Real quick, ultimately, what I would like to get out of this evening are a future day that we can continue to discuss this budget, because clearly we're not going to accomplish everything that we need to tonight, and I'm already running out of steam. It's 9:44.
Do you have do you have clarity on what we were asking about for some of the wage adjustments that were projected for 25, 26?
Yeah, we want to know why those increases look so high, and I, off the top of my head, don't know. But I'll get you the answer.
Okay, and then some more definitive, like reflection of what our rents, our facilities are. Okay, perfect.
So another topic is where the breakdown of the funds that pay for wages, salaries, and benefits. And my understanding is that the city manager, the finance manager, and all of the staff that work in the front office are all paid 34% water, sewer, general fund. So
that has been the consistent rule. The third, basically we call it a 1/3 split, and it goes from general government, water, and sewer. And that's because the majority of the office, procedures and everything revolve around the water and sewer. Most of our daily interactions with the public has to do with their water and sewer accounts, or issues with their water and sewer systems, or meters, or whatever. 8 out of 10 questions I answer on the phone are about water and sewer. And as your public works director, I'm also constantly talking about our water and sewer with our public works team. So that the 1/3 split is pretty accurate as far as I can see. Okay.
Why, just out of curiosity, why is Glenn not the public works director? Why is this?
That's an excellent question. One, I'm sorry I don't have an answer for. I truly believe Glenn should be our public works director. He's the one that's certified in all the things. So I'm really not sure.
Probably don't want to get off topic.
No.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that question, but anyway.
Agenda.
Yeah. All right, budget. Let's go. Do you guys mind if we open up the public so they can comment?
Nope.
Move this
No,
forward.
that's-
Carry on.
That's fine.
Does the public wish to comment on this? No. Julie Christie, go ahead.
Yes, you guys, I think tonight the biggest thing that we have going on is our recommendation is to review the budget for adoption or set study sessions ahead of adoption. Target adoption date should be within the first week of July. I do feel like we need a special session ad hoc with this potentially. I wish we could have expedited that sooner prior in this session because that was the recommendation by staff. However, I appreciate the dialogue. We have not had good collaboration between staff and public with deliberation of the budget in the past. Now we're kind of dealing with the snowball effect of the past as well. So I would advise that you guys just set forward a study session ad hoc real quick. I know it's a lot. You can add some commission members on that potentially. Yeah, let's just get what we can get done, but I don't think we're gonna finish and approve tonight. We're probably gonna have to table it yet again, like everything else, but that's just the way it is right now, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Thank you very much. Linda Cooley, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about businesses and fees. We don't have very many businesses in Blue Lake, so it would take not very long to find out if we all have our business license. We have to have it on our walls. I think there should be time, however, in someone's schedule to check at least the businesses using city property to make sure they're all legal, because inevitably that could return to the city and bite you where it would hurt. So I would hope that anyone's renting or doing business on city property, someone is checking to make sure they have their proper fees paid and their licenses and things like that. And we talked about water, how it's losing, but what other departments have way budgeted over the money they bring in or projected grant money they can use? That should probably be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you. And then AH, you're next.
Hi, yeah, thanks. I just want to appreciate that it's been a long night. I just want to keep it quick and just say that it would be great for the council to consider prioritizing the budget a little sooner in the agenda. Thank you so much, Danny, for the work that you're doing right now, getting a draft budget to this meeting tonight. I have a lot of professional empathy for what you're going through. I really want to just comment and say that this is such a heavy lift. And some of the questions tonight to Danny, I feel like are, I don't know, somewhat kind of implying that, and maybe overly leaning on her to provide a lot of the solutions. And just want to caution that leads to a lot of burnout. And I'm glad that there wasn't really action. I know that we really need a city manager right now for sure, but I'm glad that we're not approving the Tripepi recruitment proposal. It has a high price tag on it. I feel like there needs to be some other proposals to come in to compete with it a little bit, just to make sure that there's good fiscal stewardship. And I know it's hard to bring those proposals to the table for sure. It takes work. So I just want to say the budget's a difficult thing to do. There needs to be some due diligence to get some other recruitment proposals on the table. And yeah, I just had I didn't really catch whether or not and how the salaries were being kind of scheduled into the budget currently. And like kind of like Linda said, I think there's just maybe some digging around to do. But I really just feel like Danny needs like a lot of input and direction from the council. And like I think someone else said, there needs to be some study sessions scheduled in. And I just want to make sure that this is prioritized on agendas rather than stuck on at the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the input. Yes, Justin, go ahead.
Well, there we go. I wanted to address the question made by Elise concerning Annie Mary Day. Everyone that purchases space for a booth is required to have a permit. We check permits. If you do not have a permit, you do not set up.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Thank you.
We can't confirm whether or not they pay taxes or not, though.
Right.
But we can confirm whether or not they have a permit. If you don't have a permit, you don't set up.
Gotcha.
Yes, go ahead.
So.
Would you mind coming up to the mic? I apologize.
Last year, did we not run at a deficit? And then when we were talking about the budget, Mandy was earlier in the year, she said that money came in, there were even revenues. So did it balance out last year?
No,
or-
no.
No, it did not. So we ran at
Well,
a deficit as
it's,
well.
Or some
I know we
surprise
were well
funding.
over budget, but how we balanced or didn't balance, I don't have that in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was online sales tax.
The online sales tax saved our bacon. That's essentially what happened there.
Well,
but
we-
it wasn't the only thing. And that is, you bring up a good point. There are grants still outstanding we have not received reimbursement for. But most of those are allocated to water, sewer, or the roads. So it's not general fund. I'm sorry.
And can I ask one question that I'm not familiar with, because a city budget's a lot different than a school budget, but so say, for example, the Parks and Recreation, where does most of their funding come from? What would be the sources for something like that? Is it like lots of different?
Through the council, I'm happy to answer that question. It's primarily grant funds, state funds, and revenues from doing things like summer camp and facility rentals and things like that.
Thank you.
But it all comes through the general fund, right? Or are there, I mean, I don't know of any grants that have gone directly to Parks and Rec.
The state parks per capita grant.
Yeah, Emily was
The
talking
Parks
about
per
that.
capita grant was $177,000 that was spent over a period of time, but that was exhausted more than a year
but
ago.
I'm saying,
Right,
we
so-
don't have that now, but I'm saying
Right.
there are state funds that do go straight to parks,
Right, but-
just not.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that was a one-time grant, unfortunately.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's monies that do come available, but primarily we're whatever allotments we get from the state to the general fund gets put at that, and the revenues from the facilities are pretty much it. And whatever grants we call.
All righty. Can we get a motion to do something?
Well, let's, Danny, would you like to propose some workshop dates that might work?
Well,
for your
seeing as
availability,
though
or-
I would prefer not to work on a Saturday if that's cool after working 5 days in the week. But if we need to have it on a Saturday, we can make that happen. I was gonna suggest, I think I put it in my email. Come here, calendar.
So maybe you can give us a bit of an idea as to what work on the budget you have left to do.
Right now, I'm kind of waiting to see if the state will give us some indication of something that I can, say about our, especially our law enforcement grant or fund rather. Really, the only thing is kind of just making sure I'm answering your guys' questions, that it's in a thing that you can understand. I'm sorry it's not going to be super pretty this time, but next time we'll have more time to actually work on this.
Oh, no, it's great. It's just sad.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of polishing and question answering, and that's about it. These numbers are pretty much what we're working with.
Mhm. So the summer recreation program, is that
What
summer
page are
camp?
you on?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, 21,
Thank you, that helps.
under Parks and Rec fees.
Yes,
So
that's summer camp.
that's summer camp. So
Mhm.
it was budgeted in 24-25 for 49,000, and our actual was 16.5.
And that's part of that is because of the way we receive the program fees or whatever you want to call them. They get split over the 2 fiscal years because we don't always receive them all by June 30th.
Okay.
Sometimes they come in July and August.
Mhm.
So they get attributed to the next fiscal year.
Okay.
That's mainly that it, and then we've also seen a decrease in enrollment in the summer recreation program because we have a decrease in enrollment at our school.
Well, I think last summer, also the school had a day program that was free to all the students, and so I think that pulled a lot
I'm
of
sure
our,
that'll pull some of
our
it.
yeah.
But like I said, we have physically less children in town than we used to. The number has reduced.
Sure. Yeah. I guess my concern on that is, what sort of adjustments have been made to that program to account for the loss of enrollment, that where the kids are going to the school camp instead of coming to the rec
I
camp.
mean, I've been here a month, so
Yeah.
I haven't had time to address all of the running issues that the city has.
I'm not trying to say that you should have that answer right this minute.
Okay,
I'm
great.
saying
'Cause-
that's something that I've wondered
yeah,
about.
it's on the list to address, but it's a long and hefty list.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be lying if I didn't say we had lots of room to improve in literally every area.
Okay.
We do have lots of room to improve in every area.
So what if we bring back to the team some ideas, thoughts, new information as it comes, and have another session that's devoted to this, maybe a 2-hour session that would be devoted to this to answer some of those questions or come up with new ones or come up with ideas based on the information we have, plus whatever you're able to maybe send our way before then. I don't know if that's possible because it's a lot.
The Excel sheet would help probably.
Yeah, I can send. I'm sure the Excel sheet. I mean,
Okay.
you'll have questions about the Excel sheet because it's
Okay.
written in shorthand for brevity. Yeah, I can send you the spreadsheet. I would say the soonest that we could probably schedule another session is going to be the Friday the 27th. That would be the soonest that I could, get an agenda and all the things and your research on the current questions we have at hand and get that together. If 27th is not going to work for folks, because I generally hesitate to schedule Friday meetings. That's nobody's idea of a good time. I would say that anytime before Friday the 4th and that next week there, the 30th through the 3rd, one of those days would be an ideal day to set up a next session. There's no rule that you have to have your budget passed by June 30th.
No,
It's ideal.
Yeah,
So
it's
that
not-
you're not heading
it's
into
not
your
gonna
next
happen.
fiscal year without a road plan, but it's not required.
I know that would work for me that week rather than the week after because I'll be out.
Did you say July 4th?
Before
Before
July
the
4th. Because the office will be closed. I expect nobody will want to go to a meeting.
So, and when would be our target time to adopt the budget?
Ideally, if you could adopt it in the first 2 weeks of July, that's ideal. If we don't adopt it till the 15th of July, it's not gonna hurt anything. It's just ideal. You know what I mean? We're talking about ideal versus reality.
Okay, so I think I personally don't want to cram another meeting into this week. We've already had 2. I have a board meeting for RCA on Thursday.
Yeah.
I have to go out of town for a grueling overnight something. And So I don't want to try to cram another something into the next 7 days.
I'd like to try for next week.
Okay. Well, the first through the third, is any of those days in particular better than others for folks?
I'm not available Monday or Tuesday night
Okay.
next week.
So then that would be Wednesday the 2nd or Thursday the 3rd. Because I did, if it's a study session for all of you, I want all of you here.
I'm good Wednesday.
Wednesday, Kat, John, Wednesday, are we feeling it?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Wednesday the 2nd.
Not before 6:30 though.
Oh,
Parks and Rec, but don't they? Oh no, they're in here. Oh, I thought they were gonna get trash. Never mind. Their meeting starts at 6:30, but you can't start till 6:30 on Wednesday.
I cannot.
So it looks like probably Thursday the 3rd, unless we're trying to meet somewhere else, which is a challenge. Thank you, Justin, for
Either one,
Thursday,
yeah.
Thursday works for me because the next day's a holiday and we all don't have to go to work the next day.
So should we do Thursday the 3rd then?
I think so.
6:30?
Sure.
All right, we got it.
Okay.
3, 25.
And is that going to be dedicated only to budget then?
Can we do 6? Does that work?
Yeah.
I can't be here at 6.
You can.
No, I work till anywhere between 5:30 and 5:45 in Eureka.
And you have to drive.
Okay.
Through the crazy
And I have
out
to
of
pee.
Eureka.
And I have to do a few other things.
Oh my God, you want to do human things too? How dare you?
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
I can't believe you.
Let's move on to item number 15. Animal control contract discussion action item.
So I think you were going to bring some more information about.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I
Historical
never
costs.
heard back from our HCSO friends other than that they don't believe they've invoiced us for animal control costs in the last 5 years.
That's not true.
That's what the HCSO people said in the email. That they can't find a record of having invoiced us in the last 5 years for animal control specific costs. Whether or not, I have no idea. I wasn't here. But as I did look at the last 12 months of calls that I get the call log from the sheriff, we've had 1 to 2 per month of animal control calls, and they've all been livestock related. Like somebody
that's
calling
not-
about the goat over on Glendale, and somebody calling about the cows over here, and those have literally been the only animal calls that they've listed on the call log for the
Okay.
last year. I would also like to point out, animal control services do not count as frontline law enforcement services.
So they don't.
We cannot pay for this contract out
With
of
our-
SLFEF, SLESF, because they are not a frontline law enforcement.
I had a question about
dug
this.
into that so
told
hard.
That grant would do different types of public safety.
It does not. It only does frontline law enforcement services. It's very explicit.
And what does that entail? What
It
are
is-
considered frontline?
Frontline is basically only police services and their equipment.
For
about that?
humans.
For humans, not for animals.
I just have a brief, it's not a big deal, but in the summary sheet, the motion sheet, the action sheet, it talks about monthly installments. And in the contract, it talks about quarterly payments, first payment due October 1st. And I don't know what date that's assuming, start date is assuming, but it does.
I think that assumes a July 1st start date if we.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see where you're. I see.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I mean, that may be something if, and if we can wait on this, it's not like we have to start them July 1st.
No, we can, if you want to start it, I was told that whenever you submit a signed deal, that's when it starts. As soon
Yeah,
as the
okay.
Board of Supervisors then also approves it.
And then quarterly payments
And then
look like
quarterly.
they're owed here.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
they bill us monthly for everything. So I'm not sure why
Oh,
they
no,
would
it's fine. I was
quarterly
just
do it on
curious.
this one, but yeah. So
Okay.
that's why I put monthly, is because we pay them monthly for
Well,
everything
no worries.
else.
I just
So
wanted
the sheriff's
clarity.
department?
Yeah, we pay them something like 7 something a month or 8. Some amount of money a month. It's yeah. And anyway, and in that contract, it's lined out as a monthly thing. But anyway,
No worries.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm feeling like we can wait on this item.
Yeah, we're waiting on other stuff. We might as well wait on this one too.
That's my recommendation for action, no action.
Yeah,
Wait.
I'd like to
Are you thinking table, and are you thinking like no?
How long do you want to bring it?
no,
How long
I
before you bring it
I
back?
think we should bring it back after we settle the budget and we know
For sure.
what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Fair.
Let's talk about, you know,
End of July, July regular council meeting, pop it back up.
yeah, or August. Yeah, somewhere.
Okay.
Does the public wish to comment on this item?
Anybody?
Public wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council.
I move to bring this back to the end of July regular meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We voted to bring it back after our budget review in July.
Cool.
All right, moving on to the next item. We need to untable
Yeah,
the
let's
Tri-Pepe
circle
Smith.
back to Tri-Pepe.
So can we get a motion to
Pardon me.
bring that item back?
Do we need a motion?
I don't think you need a motion to bring
motion.
it back. You can just bring it back now in the
Oh, we're
since
bringing it
we've
back.
addressed all the other business.
Right. All right. So we've brought back Tri-Pepe Smith. What do we want to do with that item?
So I have a question for Danny about when the general fund goes over budget. I know we have some cash.
We have a little bit of cash reserves.
And what is the total of what is the balance of our cash reserve?
Cash reserve balance is, I can't remember what page it's on.
Just
no, it's not that.
I have a number in my head of something in the neighborhood of 700,000, which
Yeah, I can't remember off the
is
top
not a
of my
current
head.
number.
I don't think it's 700,000. We have 700,000 in the LEAF fund. That is an investment fund that's supposed to cover our unfunded pension liabilities as required by the state of California. So we can't touch that and put it in the general.
But for the other fund, that you aren't able to locate.
Yeah, I'll have to look up our cash reserve balance. It's not. I don't think it's on here. Because you don't usually plan to use your cash reserves in your budget.
Right?
Fair. That's fair.
But like to know what it is, if we've been holding steady, going up, going down on that.
Yes, I can get you that information, just not off the top of my head right now. Sorry.
Okay.
And I mean, we overspent our income last year by 240,000, I think. And some of that was cost recovery, but I don't know where the rest came from. And I'd really like to understand that.
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do
That's
some
kind of
asking.
that's why I asked you earlier if you had a handle on last year. I could extrapolate forward from there, but anyway, it's I don't know. It's confusing.
Nothing about this is that simple, unfortunately.
Have we moved
being
back to
confused is the
Tri-Pepe
natural
Smith?
Right,
state.
we are.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at Tri-Pepe Smith. I was just trying to figure out if there was
In cash.
Cash to pay for.
if there was a pot of money.
I know. I wish I had a magical pile of money for you. I really did.
Sorry. We could just dip in
I
Anyway,
wish I had a magical pile of money for you guys. I
All
really
right,
wish I
I'm
did.
gonna move that we table the Tri-Peppy recruitment process to the next regular meeting.
I don't want to go that far out. Sorry, you were saying.
That would be
So that
722 for reference.
motion dice. There's no second. Can we form an ad hoc now with
Yeah.
during this moment?
Yeah.
Would the council consider if we tabled this till after our budget review, but at the same time had an ad hoc committee that would look into alternative options and then potentially take on the overall process or the majority of the process?
Yeah, I would like
Majority of the process for what?
For searching for alternatives.
Doing the research and
Doing the
legwork.
research.
Okay.
I think that, at this point, council and potentially council needs to move forward quickly on this process, quicker than we have been.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to hire a finance manager.
Right.
Like, that's where we're at. Vicky
So-
wants to
Yeah.
leave.
I think this is a bird in the hand. And this isn't just dithering, it is foot dragging at this point. This is absolutely qualified organization that has done some fantastic, successful placements. And I don't know what we gain by trying to go back over proposals or alternatives that have already been turned down. What magically is going to appear at this point when they likely have people already in the pipeline, people that they could already consider as candidates in here. And certainly there's a lot of value to us to be able to work with an organization like this that can kind of obviously guide us to a consensus on what might work as a good city manager. I don't know that we're going to necessarily get that type of support elsewhere. So clearly I am frustrated that we are 2 months before we've even seen this. And now the idea is, well, let's table it again or let's push it even further out. We have staff that are out of position, that are having to cover multiple positions. And I understand that this costs money, but $15,000, we could be looking at $35,000 for this kind of quality work. And if we went to dither around and say, well, no, we're going to look somewhere else, except for we don't really know where we're going to look. The time to move is now. What more do you want? Is my question on this.
Well, I tend to agree with you, and I feel like it's 15 grand, and 15 grand is a chunk of change, but we can't afford not to spend it. We have, the city of Blue Lake has sort of had a lot of history of having, city managers come in to finish off their last few years before they retired, just to hop in and just hold the fort down for a few months or a year. We've had a lot of that over time, and I think we're all ready to do something different. And I don't feel. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like we have a second option. I don't know that there's anything better out there or cheaper. Um, and I think that Tripepi Smith can do a lot of guiding. They did that for RCEA. They, and truly, I think we need it. I think we don't have the skill set in this room to do the work that they can do for us.
Michelle?
I don't disagree. I'm looking at the company, I'm exploring, I'm looking at the cities that they've already served. And funny enough, we have a lot of commonalities with these cities in regards to challenges with the housing element, compliance, and other things. Not that that is a reflection of Tri-Peppy Smith's, but we also don't have a guarantee of a placement of somebody. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that the position has not been posted anywhere.
Correct.
For us to just jump in, and I don't, I'm sure we all have had some experience with people who have been recruited, pulled in from out of the area, given the position and were actively looking for their next position as they were working for doing their 12-month stint or whatever. I'm not interested in that. I want to be very thoughtful and careful. I'm not saying that they won't be, but I feel like I would like to explore some other options. As Danny has indicated, she's going to struggle to find this money. I'm not sure where the payments are going to come from. Yes, we can certainly pick and choose what we need out of this little menu here. Maybe we don't need all of the 4 to 6 page digital recruitment brochure for Blue Lake, but it's still some money, and I just wanted to take a minute to have an ad hoc to discuss other options and do some more investigation.
Would you be willing to be part of that ad hoc?
Sure.
And how much time do you think we should take to do that?
Well, we have a meeting next week, so
I think
we really need to get a move on this.
I have this idea that if we're going to not go with Trepepe Smith, if we're not sure we want to do that, then we should post a position.
Yeah, it should have been posted.
If we're not going to, if we're not ready to pull, if you told me you
why
wanted
not?
that,
Yeah.
it's just
No. It should have been posted.
If you notice on here, the people that they recruited were not from out of the area. There's so much talent already here in Humboldt County, and they're high functioning, very capable, flexible. They exist here already. I doubt very much that we're going to recruit somebody from Southern California to come out here. And in our discussions with Trepepe Smith, as you profile what you're looking for, that can be made really clear. That is part of what's shaped into their recruitment process. This just keeps stretching out and getting longer and longer. And honestly, the opportunity to have done that is, to me, it's in the rearview mirror. This is where we are now. If we wanted to do some type of alternative, we could have considered that at the time. And, as we had with the city clerk multiple times, there seemed to be no will for this council to engage with local recruitment sources. So I don't know, are we getting a Craigslist for our next city manager? Is that the idea?
Well, so now I've lost track of what we asked Ryan. Did we ask Ryan to do anything with Trepepe?
He was going to take direction from Danny out of the report for what we decide tonight.
You guys mind if we open up to the public really quick?
No. Done?
Any public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. I know it's going late.
Yeah.
I would it just sounds like a good idea to move forward with this, because by the time you get an ad hoc and then you talk about it some more, so whatever has to happen within the budget, or if there is money, or where we have to dig deep to find that, I think this is really an important thing, and you are already all stretched so thin, and that's the reason for recruitment like this, because just if you take out that component of having to, you're still going to do interviews, you're going to take on that part of it to get help with this. It doesn't seem like an unreasonable cost, being on all the committees to work for hiring superintendents for schools, and they always went out and used an outside source to help them recruit. And this seems less than what we would generally do in the school district. So I encourage you to move forward with recruiting a new city manager.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
I know that $400 we're spending on the portable toilet at the town hall isn't going to, but it's stuff like that. I mean, there's little stuff here and there that I see in there. And I just think it's really important. Now we've put off a city clerk. Now we're being told we can't afford a city clerk. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I think we need to get a city manager in place.
Great, thank you. Julie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, John. What action item are we on to be making a motion right now?
We untabled the city manager recruitment process with Tribe Happy Smith.
Okay. Okay, I'll just concur my prior statements on that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's bring it back to council for a decision or a motion.
I make a motion to move forward with this, to direct the city attorney to please engage with Tri-Pepe Smith in the recruitment process, to begin the recruitment process for a city manager.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one opposed.
I mean, me, no.
Okay. So we're gonna,
I would like, in the interest of cost, to be able to have a preliminary meeting with Trefeppe Smith and kind of review this proposal, and if we can reduce, I mean, I think the marketing materials are a little much. I don't really think we need that kind of a real robust brochure.
Right.
Because like Kat said, they're doing a lot of recruiting from local. And
can we amend the motion once we've already made it?
No.
You've already voted on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
we don't need to change the motion, but
You can still direct
but
staff
this
to
is
do things.
this is
as
direction to
part of the
Ryan.
direction.
That we want to look. This is our a la carte menu. We should have a face-to-face with Christine Martin, and we should talk a little bit about what they've proposed, and if we want to pare that down a little bit in areas that we think are not necessary, then we should be able to do that.
I agree with you.
Well, and that can happen. But how about we just have her come out for an initial face-to-face?
She's in Tennessee. I don't think she's coming out for a face.
You're not paying those travel costs.
Totally.
Those are not included in the proposal, by
by
the way,
whatever
just to point
means.
that out.
Yes.
Zoom, smoke signal,
Whatever.
Yes, Zoom.
Morse code.
Zoomy Zooms.
All right. Sorry. Do you mind if we? Do you mind? All right.
Okay.
Reports of council and staff. Do we have to do this?
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
Fast.
You can always say I have nothing to report at this time.
HCOG. I would like to do a shout out to staff and our city engineer who successfully wrote for funding for 2 Polaris craft, and HCOG approved that. Very cool. It's going to replace, you can probably speak to it more if you'd
We're
like
going to
to.
replace old stuff at Public Works and be more carbon friendly.
Yeah. So instead of that old F-250 diesel truck, I don't know how old it is, we'll have 2 Polaris, or I guess Polari, since it's 2 of them. And yeah, good job on that.
All right.
Great. Michelle, anything to report?
Went to the HWMA meeting, and Eric did a fantastic job doing a presentation on the history of the Cummins Road landfill and the maintenance of that and some of the challenges that happen. And it's quite a remarkable story. I think that the information is available on the HWMA website, along with lots of other information. And that was the only meeting that I went to.
All right. So I attended the Parks and Rec meeting and the movie presentation. I'll just combine the two together. Essentially, there was discussion about the bike park, the projected target date for opening is July 11th, 2025, and then hoping to, or sorry, that's completion. They want to complete the paved pump track, the fencing, and the signage. They're going to have a soft opening is July 11th as well. They're going to be doing monthly updates with financial reports, volunteer logs, and progress photos. And there's been probably more than 2,000 hours put into it so far. And they also have some benefit packages ranging from copper to platinum, and I won't go into the dollar amounts, but you guys
mean
can-
sponsorship package.
Sponsorship package. Thank you. And that's it.
Okay. I guess that we had a public safety commission meeting, and seems like such a long time ago. We talked about traffic calming measures on I Street. We talked about 4th of July and the flyer that we've already learned about, and RCA coming up this week. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but that's all I'm going to report on for right now.
I think you hit the highlights there.
City manager report.
Alrighty, well, I brought you your budget after many labored efforts. Basically, I've just been working on trying to make sure that all of the city functions are functioning and looking for these areas of opportunity where we need to grow and trying to get some plans in place to address some of those things. On a functional side, rather than the money side, since I feel like I've belabored that point already too much tonight. On a functional side, we're working on improvements to efficiency in our AP process, our accounts payable process, and also to our cash receipts process. And so that'll be something that can hopefully alleviate some of our staff time that's currently dedicated to that, and so I can direct it elsewhere to the other needs we have. I've been working with Tony on our TOT program. She's the person in our office currently who handles that. And so
What is RTOT?
Oh, transient occupancy tax. It's the tax that people who do Airbnbs pay. If we had a hotel in city limits, they would pay a TOT as well.
Sure.
So just basically kind of looking up who's got Airbnbs, making sure we're sending them letters and telling them, hey, you're required to do a thing. Please do it. You have this amount of time to come in compliance. Otherwise, penalties, yada, yada.
Doesn't that usually get paid through like Airbnb or?
Not at all.
It doesn't?
Nope. No,
No,
the
I think
city
that
has
was
to
part of the
negotiate with
fees.
Airbnb to be on the receiving end of their taxes. Otherwise, it is the Airbnb host's responsibility to make sure they pay their municipality. City of Eureka currently operates that way. Even as large as they are, Airbnb does not take their taxes or pass them through to Eureka, and so they have to also bill people for their transient occupancy taxes quarterly.
And so you're saying that that the city could contract with Airbnb to do it?
No, they don't. They won't. We're too small. They do that with like San Francisco.
Oh,
yeah, they don't do that with anything under 500,000 people.
Okay.
We're not worthy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's big
So
enough
how
to
many-
be a city, small enough to not get thought about very much.
How many Airbnbs do we have in city limits?
To my knowledge, we have 5. But I haven't looked at, I haven't looked at Airbnb specifically to be like, hey, how many are there? That's on Tony's list of to-dos. Is to see how many people are not reporting
Good.
as an Airbnb that should be.
Good.
So, and there are ways we can pursue back taxes from those.
Awesome.
So that's the big report. Is I'm working on getting us some money somewhere, somehow. That's the report.
Great. All right, future agenda items.
Nope. Ad hoc committee.
Council ad hoc committees. I put that on there because somebody expressed a desire for ad hocs if they did not have an agendized thing to give a report out to the rest of council should they desire to do so.
Oh.
If any of you who are on ad hocs desire to give an update, then this is your chance. If not, it's not.
I think we need an
Greatly
ad hoc
different.
grid.
That's what I was going
Matrix.
to suggest.
Yeah.
We need to develop an ad hoc. This can be another future agenda
Yeah.
item, I think.
Yes.
But we need to have an ad hoc grid generated.
Yes.
And maintained because I think over time.
Like at a
so-
glance, so I know who I can talk to.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Wait,
Yeah.
who was on that again? Let me
Yeah, I
not
don't know.
include
Can
the
I talk
wrong
to you about?
person.
Are you? We no. Yeah.
I think there's been some ad hocs lost over the entire processes that we've been going through. Not lost, but just like
Yeah,
Faded away.
faded away.
Yeah.
We need to reestablish those and have an official,
A
at least
list, yeah.
list.
So should we send them to Danny?
Yeah,
or
whatever
have
you
her
actually
dig them?
know,
I mean,
because
let's send. Do you want to send them to you later or
We
in
can
this
just
meeting?
speak them right now.
I mean, if you want
Can
to
we?
say them out
Speak 'em.
loud right
Let's
now, let's
speak 'em.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just spit it out. Me and Michelle are on ad hoc for the power plant.
Michelle and Elise.
And then me and John are on an ad hoc for transparency.
That's well. It was like transparency website. Yeah.
Yeah, the little transparency project
Right.
thing.
I forgot about that
And
one.
then John and I are ad hoc for any ongoing negotiations.
Mhm.
So now
Me-
that
Wait, slow down 1 second. Transparency and website. Who was on the next one?
me and John as well for
Oh, yeah.
ongoing negotiations between the city and anyone.
Which I think we should adjust in the future, but
Yeah, it was kind of
It was
a
an emergency.
stopgap
Mhm.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Negotiations ad hoc. Is that what that is?
Yeah, let's call
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
Me
all
and
I'm
Michelle
on.
are on bike review. Are we on anything that's active?
Commissions.
Oh, that's right. Commission realignment. Yeah.
And that's you and Kat?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Kat and Michelle are on the city clerk
We
thing.
are now from the last one, yes.
I mean, you have been for
Well,
months,
yeah, we
right?
have, and we've renewed that to focus
Right.
on job description.
Right. Right. Do you think, Danny, you're gonna get me something? Never mind.
I thought I emailed you guys the city clerk association thing.
Maybe you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
thought I
sent the triangle one.
No, I had that. That's right. Okay.
I don't. I mean, I think that we could safely say I don't want to have discussion or anything on it, but I think we can say that we're wrapping up the bike park ad hoc report
Okay.
in the future.
So you don't have anything to tell us tonight?
I don't. We didn't. It's not an agendized item, so I'm not really comfortable.
Well, I mean, if you have nothing to report on it right now, then I would just roll forward.
Well, I think this permits you to do a report.
10:30, we have an hour and a half.
Okay, I'll just say, you know, a lot of information has come out lately, publicly in the Parks and Rec meeting that we were reviewing. We're continuing to review some other items, but I'm not going to bring anything forward at this time. Any other ad hocs wish to speak, or did we have any other ad hocs that we needed to bring forward to Danny?
You and I were power transitions, but that just got changed, right? Because we did that one time information, and then that's done. Okay, so that's done.
We got bumped off.
And
any other?
Elise, for you and I to do any budget work together?
As an ad hoc?
Uh-huh.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But sorry. Just trying to
Oh,
get
I
them
know.
off.
There's a mosquito too.
I'm
Trying to
Yeah.
get people.
I think that's about.
So we have all our ad hocs. Does any ad hoc wish to make a report at this time?
No.
I think Michelle and I had
Oh.
a meeting with you and with Glenn about the power plant, talking about some of the different safety concerns. And I feel like that perhaps that kind of left us in limbo a little bit. I don't feel like we made any leaps or bounds on that.
No,
one.
just information gathering still early on.
And then we also met with the gentleman who spoke at public comment earlier tonight, Ron Hill of Ron Hill Construction, and we learned about some of the plans that were made in the time frame he spoke of between the last quarter of 23 and the first quarter of 24, and he shared some more information about what some of the things that could potentially happen, and the idea that that working, we've all heard about how many millions it would cost to to demo the power plant if we were to go out for a request for proposals as a city, and the whole conundrum of prevailing wage. If you're a city hiring, you pay prevailing wage, and that might double your costs or come close to that. In the situation that we're in currently, he was hired by the owners of Blue Lake Power, and so if something were to happen between the city and Blue Lake Power and Ron Hill Construction, it would be happening under the auspices of him working for Blue Lake Power, so it would not be a prevailing wage situation. So it's possible that there's some options there that we could learn about. That might be entirely feasible and do something soon instead of God knows when somebody with a pot of money drops in out of the sky.
It's gonna happen. Just put it out there.
Manifest.
We need Roa and Barbara. They had that energy for it.
So
They'll get it done.
Okay.
All right. Any more ad hoc comments? Seeing none, moving on to future agenda items. Item 17.
Looks like somebody's got to comment.
Julie, can they comment on?
Yeah, I'm gonna slip in with public comment, just keep things
Is
kosher.
this-
I appreciate the ad hoc addition. Just remember within your reports, just keep to the report without additional discussion or opinions on situations, and that will keep everything smooth sailing, you guys.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Any further public comment on council ad hoc committees? Great. On to future agenda items, item 17. Does anyone have any future agenda items?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like us to schedule a meeting, which I imagine would have to be a closed session, with Ron Hill and the owners of Blue Lake Power. I think, I'm sure Ryan Plotz would want to be there. But I think that, given our current set of circumstances, that would be a prudent move to discover, to learn and discover and converse about possibilities.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that should happen sooner than later.
Okay.
Of course.
You got it. It's on there.
No,
Noted.
it's all right.
Noted.
Tell us more.
Let's discuss. No, let's
Oh,
moving
God.
on. So,
Oh wait, looks
yeah.
like Julie's got a comment.
I don't.
I don't think we typically have public comment at this time.
I think they can bring item forward.
In the interest of time, Julie, can you email me your comment if it's a request for an agenda item, and I will bring it to the ad hoc agenda committee?
Got a thumb.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, Kat.
Yeah, I know that it's already on the future agenda items, but if we could sooner rather than later, have council have the ability to discuss having a meeting twice a month on a regular basis. So we can
Yes,
kind of
it's
do
on-
away
it's
with the
on our
socials.
thing too.
It's on there, just trying to breathe a little life into
Oh.
it.
Seen that thing for a while.
And then
I know, Amy.
I guess as an agenda item, then the possibility to speak or hear from Christine with Tri-Pepe Smith. We have that motion, but
We have that.
Yeah, that's covered
Right?
in
Okay,
that.
just making
That
sure.
should be a sooner than later.
Right. Do we have an agenda item for recruitment of our
City
fifth
clerk?
city council person?
No,
Yeah.
nobody has applied yet.
Why not?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth on that one.
I mean, is there?
Hey.
Okay. I don't know. Julie's laughing at
Hint,
us.
hint, nudge, nudge.
Sometimes people
So-
don't apply until the deadline. Or near the
Right.
deadline.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
at the deadline yet.
all right. Well, do we
The
need to
15th of
agendize that so
July.
we can talk about it again?
We'll
And maybe
agendize it after
advertise
the
it?
15th.
Maybe post it up on Facebook?
I did post it on Facebook.
Well, I mean, no more again, like
Oh,
on
you want
repeat,
more?
on loop, on loop. I know that people in this room can post on Facebook. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Are you
pretty
posting
sure.
as the city of Blue Lake and
Yes,
blurbing it on the groups too?
That's no, I don't play in the groups. I only post to our official city page. If somebody wants to take what's on the official city page
Gotcha.
and share
Okay.
it somewhere else,
Okay.
they're welcome.
Julie's on it. Okay.
I don't play in the pages. I stay out of it. I'm in Switzerland.
What else?
And you can. I want you to tell me to be quiet if I say too much. But can we write a letter of disappointment? Is that allowed, or would that not be allowed?
A letter
To whom?
for, huh?
A letter
To the
of- A letter
creator?
of disappointment and neutrality.
In neutrality for.
Maybe we should talk.
That's an agenda
I
item.
was gonna say, hit me up offline about it
Same.
later.
You know what? I have brain fart. There's something very, very, very important I want to put on.
Okay.
If you think of it, I have one in the meantime. Ground rules for meetings. I would like to agendize that. I would like us to spend maybe 15 minutes setting some ground rules for us and the public
Love that.
for these meetings to encourage professional conduct and decorum.
Yeah, I have some ideas for that.
Okay. I would like to have an opportunity to reach out to the Rancheria in the form of a letter that we would all sign. And I don't know if that needs to be an agenda item, or if we could. And I should have said this.
About
I should have.
reaching out? And maybe let's talk about how you want to flesh that out later, and I'll bring it to the agenda ad hoc committee. Because I like where you're going, but I need more details.
Oh yeah, who's on the agenda ad hoc committee?
Right now, I have you two, Michelle and John.
Oh,
Yeah.
If that needs to change, you can change it. That's up to you.
you were gonna make that was a flexing thing,
Maybe let's.
wasn't it? Switching back and forth.
It
week to
was.
week?
It was switching every month.
Yes.
Yeah. It was always John and
Do we want
one
to?
other
Do we want
person
to
each
revisit that, or what do we want to do with that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But
So I'll put
not.
agenda ad
I know.
hoc
I
on the
think that what we should do
future
is probably get with our manual update. Bring that. I would like to bring forward the manual update, but if you could get me the unmarked Word document of the reworking of our manual.
I couldn't find the Word document. All I found was PDF. Oh God. I know. I'm so sorry. I searched in every folder on the hard drive. So I typed in
That's
council responsibilities,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
only PDFs came up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's going to be a little bit. That's going to be a project.
Do you have the same?
To retype.
No. You can convert.
Do you have the same?
Yeah, you can
No,
convert it
not
to
this
Word.
marked up one.
Oh, it's all. Oh, the mark. I can try to
It's
find
so
you the
bad.
unmarked PDF.
Okay, okay, let's start there.
Might be somewhere to start.
Let's start there.
Okay.
That's a little off topic, but that can be agendized.
So our agenda process is spelled out in the municipal code. So we have a couple different ways we can go. We can do the ad hoc thing that we were doing. Or we can revert to the municipal code. But and John had mentioned just not having an ad hoc committee, having him be the dude. And then that way he can receive requests from anybody. It's never going to be a Brown Act violation because we're only talking to him about our agenda requests.
Oh.
Is that true? I just want to make sure that's true. Or it would come to you.
It's tricky, but it could function that way, to my knowledge.
And we could try that for a couple months and see how it flies.
That's fine.
Potentially.
Or would they submit it to you?
I mean, ideally they copy both of us, since I'm the one actually putting it on the Word document. You know what I mean? That way I have the language that was, that you guys wanted.
Well, I mean, if you set a deadline and just said, okay, by this date, give me your agenda items.
I would love to do that. I would personally love for us to be deciding the agenda items the Monday before the meeting. And then that way we're having pretty much the agenda set by Wednesday, released on Friday with the entire packet ready to go. That way, if I'm waiting last minute for, presentations from other people who are coming to present and stuff like that, they have an opportunity to get it in the packet. But ideally the Monday before your next planned meeting, I would love to have your agenda items.
So I love the Monday thing. That's why I proposed the draft agenda was shared on a Monday. And then anything that's missing gets fleshed out.
Are we
Monday,
straying off the
Tuesday.
topic at this?
This is future
We're talking
agenda
about
items.
future agenda items, how we
Okay.
handle the agendas,
Okay.
the argument could be made.
Check
Yeah.
if we're getting
So-
too far in the weeds.
So that's, I think it's really hard when somebody says, hey, you got any agenda items? It's really hard to say yes or no when you don't know what's already on the draft agenda. So, and like, I got that email from you last week and I was like, what you got in your draft agenda? And I was at work and it's just like, sorry, zero bandwidth for this right now. But if I have a draft agenda in front of me, I can, take a peek at it and know what's going on.
Great.
So I would love to have that process, like share your draft agenda with all of us on a Monday, and then we have the opportunity to present to you anything that we believe is missing or anything that we've hatched in our little heads since our last chat. And then
I don't know. I just feel like it seems like it would be more streamlined if she wasn't being peppered with a bunch of different emails and she had one person, Dawn, who could be the
right,
deliverer.
but John has to go to work, and John has to deal with all this stuff while he's trying to be at work and stuff.
I think CCing.
I think if you CC us both, then it gets covered either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then it won't fall through the cracks.
Piggybacking on this idea, I totally appreciate you wanting to have more lead time. Totally fair. And on that note, we don't have to wait until just a week before. Some of this stuff, we know that December 12th, we want to have done that housing element. We can start to
Right.
pencil in some of this stuff now, those big major items, and have those parsed out over the next few months. So we know when we're dealing with it, we have hard deadlines.
I'm working on a planning calendar for those more long range items
Beautiful,
to
thank
try
you.
and to set
Awesome.
reasonable dates
Perfect.
for you guys that align with existing meetings you already have, so we don't have to call so many special meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm working on a
That's
long
something.
range planning calendar right now. The biggest things I need from you guys are like the timely things that that we aren't already addressing in a session like right now. If we have talked about it as a future agenda item, it's going to go on there unless there's a really good reason that it can't be addressed at that particular agenda. So, when I call for agenda items, it's mostly like, is there anything that you've got in your mind that we haven't as a team already had a chance to discuss? Or, that you've been meaning to bring up and we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
That would be really helpful for me. But yeah, most of the time, anything that you guys already expressed to me in these meetings, those are going on your agendas, unless there's, like I said, a really dang good reason that it can't.
I think something else that we've talked about, but I'm not sure where we're at with it, is to revisit the whole commissions reporting out to the council process. That thought idea, unless I'm
Probably
misremembering.
part of our.
Realignment.
Oh, you're ad hoc, right? Okay, sorry.
So we'll save that one until the ad hoc's
Sure.
ready to bring that. Okay.
Hopefully we can get moving forward on some other things soon besides.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Anything else for future agenda items? All right. Well, then you don't have any new council correspondence unless you guys have something you'd like to share on that note. I don't have any to include in your packet this time. And so a motion to adjourn is always in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.